Hi, everybody. Welcome to FNS Wrestling Podcast, episode 95. I am your host back in the basement, looking across the tiny table at my co-host and teenage son, Jack. Say hi, Jack.
Hi. It just occurred to me.
What?
We still need ideas for 100.
We do. We got 5 weeks to figure this out, what we're going to do. I don't know.
People, suggest something.
Suggest something.
That would be useful to me, because I don't know.
We not smart. We need help.
Me not
If anyone
know
has
thing.
a suggestion.
Mm-hmm.
We are in the midst of a heat wave here in southern Ontario, and I am not complaining because I love the heat, but it's been, it got up to 32 today, which is probably around 90 Fahrenheit. You know what I was thinking is strange? Because we have a pool, which is now open, and we were in it the last couple days. When we talk about pool temperature, we do Fahrenheit.
Right.
But when we talk about air temperature, we talk about Celsius.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know why that is. I think because the thermometer on the pool thing is in Fahrenheit, and I've just never changed it.
It's different from air.
So now I'm comfortable with it. But yeah, so we
I feel like it'd be weird to switch now.
had some friends over last night, a couple families for some food and drinks and swimming. Felt kind of like summer already, so it was great. Finally, but I think it's going to cool off next week again. And then today's been nuts for me. We're a bit late putting this one out because I was chauffeuring the younger boy around to basketball practice. We had a 2-hour practice this morning, and then he had a birthday party that was basketball as well. So a couple hours there. So it's been a busy day for me driving around in the heat. So finally found the time.
That's what you want to be doing, so.
Just finished the rest. We also fell behind watching wrestling this week. Why was that?
Cool.
Oh, because we had people over last night, and then you swam on Thursday night too.
Correct.
So we ended up finishing up some wrestling. It's going to be fresh in our minds because
we watched nearly the whole show today, I think.
Yeah, we just finished Dynamite about 5 minutes before coming down here. So we were a bit behind, but we're determined to get out our episode on our regular scheduled day. So welcome if you're a new listener. Welcome back if you're a returning listener. And I don't know, what do you want to talk about? Anything new and exciting in your life before we get into wrestling talk?
No.
Nothing really?
No.
Can't think of anything?
Nope.
Nothing's exciting happened to you? You had a new
Nothing.
bubble tea that was good?
Oh, yeah, I had that today. No, but I don't really do stuff.
I don't really do stuff so far. Once summer hits, you might do stuff. But yeah, you're busy with school and stuff.
We'll see.
But anyways, I don't know. I figure because I'm looking to get through this because it's Game 7 of the Maple Leafs, which even though I'm not a Maple Leaf fan or really a hockey fan, I've been invited to a Game 7 sort of get-together tonight that I'm going to try and get to just to have some fun and hang out. And I just looked down, and what did I see? I did not plug in the laptop that is recording.
Of course you didn't.
So I will do that
Because why would you plug it in? Not like that's happened before. That was like an early issue for us.
Hasn't it happened more than once? I feel
no,
like
for sure.
Where we ended up re-recording hours.
No, we definitely did more than once.
And now I've gotten smarter because each segment I stop and save it, right? And then put in the little...
Whoa, exposing the business here.
I am exposing the business. And then put in the little, what is that, interstitial? The little bit of music in between. So
if you
I got
say
smart.
I don't know things.
Basically, it only took me probably 30 or 40 episodes to get smart and figure out how to make sure I'm not going to lose the information that we have already spoken. But anyways, enough about the production process of this amazing podcast. I say we get into talking about some wrestling. And the first thing every week is to take a look at some of the week's wrestling news and rumors. We were just talking about it seems to be a pretty light news week this week, right? But I've still got my ratings and a couple other things to talk about. So ratings-wise, wasn't a great week for either show that we keep track of every week. So this week's live edition of NXT 2.0 drew 533,000 viewers, which is down 19.36% from the week before, earned a .10 in the 18 to 49 demo, which is down 23.07%. Kind of makes sense because last week was like a special episode, right? Although this one, I don't know if would you call it a special episode? It was just basically all women's matches, right? So a little bit.
I don't know.
I don't think they promoted it as such, which is good because they shouldn't have promoted it as anything special. It's not to spoil my review, but so it's the lowest audience and key demo in the history of the show on USA Network, so obviously not good. But to be fair, again, it is still in competition with NBA playoffs as well as NHL playoffs, which probably matters less in the United States, but would affect them more up here in Canada. So not a great week for them. Same for Dynamite, not great for them. They averaged 840,000 viewers. Oh, sorry. Actually, they're up 0.8%, it looks like, and a 0.33 in the demo, so up 3.1%, but still the second lowest audience the show has drawn since moving to TBS, and the demo rating ties the third lowest rating. And again, they had their usual NBA playoff and probably NHL. I didn't make a note of it, but I think NHL playoffs have been most nights as well. So just good old sports getting in the way of their ratings, I guess. But for some reason, I remembered AEW's rating was down, so I apologize. It wasn't that terrible a week for them, but not great for NXT. Anyways, what do you have?
Tony Khan was talking about titles and stuff.
Right.
And he says more titles are to come. And actually, one thing I like from this is an interview with Canada's TSN. Ooh,
yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
yeah, Canada.
That's us.
Yeah, TSN.
That's what we watch it on. So
cleverly an acronym for. Do you know what it's an acronym for? It's really clever.
Turd Sports Network.
The Sports Network.
That makes more sense.
Clever.
So he revealed the existence and impending debut of the Trios Championship, which is nothing new.
Oh, he confirmed?
It is truthful that I have made the belts. I made them a long time ago, to be honest with you. They've never been seen. I did have them made. And so he also went on to say, I do have more championship belts in my possession that have never been unveiled than anybody might suspect. The TBS championship was in my office for months at the shows before anybody knew it was going to be unveiled. So that is cool. And then he also said, we have a lot of great trios here. I am much more receptive to doing it when Kenny Omega is back. Also not new information, but that's kind of cool. I'm hoping he doesn't go overboard with that, and I think he's probably smart.
Yeah, so. I'm excited for trios titles for sure. We've talked about it on here many times.
I think we definitely need the trios titles. I think
Me too.
That's definitely coming. Then I just need I think we need one more mid cartel because their roster's too much. Like they need something else, and the TNT title is more of a TV title anyway. So I feel like I just find
every title you add makes every title feel slightly less significant. And we're at the tipping point for me right now.
I understand that, but I think their rosters...
Then you better get rid of the FTW.
Yeah.
Just get rid of it.
Yeah, or keep that on dark, because I don't really care about that.
Yeah, that's fine if you want to throw it on the internet.
I don't even count the FTW title, just because it's, he hardly defends it, and it's just,
It's never been recognized by them, really.
No, wasn't it?
As an actual thing. It's just...
I thought that was the segment Taz wanted it to be sanctioned, right?
I think so.
Anyways. Yeah, I think that's what it was.
Yeah.
So that is cool.
That is cool. Unfortunately, we're going to talk about Killer Cross again and Scarlett Bordeaux because they recently spoke. It was a slow week, I told you. So this is what you get. They recently spoke with Wrestling Inc., Nick Hausman, and Karrion Kross. Is that what he's going by now? I don't even know.
He's Killer Kross. Karrion Kross was
NXT. So Killer Kross, my apologies, claims, notice I threw the word claims in there, that both ROH and New Japan Wrestling were interested in him at one point. He was told that ROH was interested in having he and Scarlett for Supercard of Honor.
That's dumb.
Then Tony Khan bought Ring of Honor, and the person, according to Cross, that he was dealing with, who represented Ring of Honor, obviously no longer worked for the company, right? So
basically, thank you, Tony Khan.
And I am totally fine with that falling through, right?
Exactly.
Cross to ROH falling through. So yeah, that was one little nugget I found. What else do you have?
So basically, thank you, Tony Khan.
A little bit, yes. For Trios belts and for not following through on Cross.
And then, so RK Bro versus Usos, the tag title unification match is on SmackDown next week. Because why put it on Backlash when you can put it on SmackDown?
Right. Oh, yeah, Backlash update. We watched 3 matches and never went back to it.
I am yet to finish it, and I don't think I will.
Cody, Seth Rollins, really good.
Yeah,
here's your turbo review. What else did we see? Omos, and Lashley, not good.
No.
Shouldn't be on it. The guy, why is he on a pay-per-view?
I don't know.
Honestly. Because I see reviews and people are like, he did a pretty good job. It was better but it's still not good. It's still on a pay-per-view. What was the other match we saw? They were all repeats of Mania. So then we just...
Edge Styles.
Right, which was fine. I didn't think it was great. But yeah, that's our review.
And Rhea Ripley joined the faction, and then Edge copied her haircut the next night.
I do like her joining the faction. That makes a lot of sense to me.
His faction looks so lame.
But so we did not finish it. So that tells you how good it was.
Yeah.
Sorry, back to the news. First ever Queen of the Mountain match announced for Impact Slammiversary.
I was going to ask what that was, and I immediately remembered what that was, and now I don't want to watch that.
Jeff Jarrett wins
the
them all,
reverse ladder match?
So, yeah, Gail Kim announced it, and the participants...
Why are they bringing that back?
I don't know. They love their weird gimmick matches.
But that,
I give them marks for trying stuff. A lot of it's not good, but they at least try stuff.
No, it's so stupid, 'cause it's like a reverse... you want to hang the thing.
Yes.
And then take it back off because he won.
Unless they decide to tweak the rules a little, maybe since it's been so long.
And then there's like the penalty box in the old ones,
that's right.
But like I understand wanting to do the first female Ultimate X because A, that's a cool match. B, they still use it.
They do.
I don't think there's many people who like King of the Mountain, and also
doesn't do anything for me.
I don't remember the last time they did it, and it's stupid.
So I'm hoping because it's been gone so long, they'll tweak the rules. But it's Tasha Steelz defending against Mia Yim, who just arrived in Impact. Chelsea Green. I think she's overrated, frankly, but that's just me. Jordan Grace, love her. She's awesome. And Purrazzo, awesome. Nice. One of my favorites. So
there's usually like 5.
And I don't think Mia Yim's too bad. I don't think she's on the level of Purrazzo for sure, but she's... I don't know.
Forgive her. She made Shayna Baszler have a bad match, okay? I saw that with my own 2 eyes.
And even Tasha Steelz, who Toronto. I saw had an amazing match in... What tournament was that? Anyway, she had a great...
Was it Knockouts Knockdown?
Yes, it was.
Oh, yeah.
And I haven't seen her have a match that good since, because I was like, oh, she's actually quite good. And anyways, so that match will happen. Anything else from you? I only have one more.
I do have one more as well. So AEW is reportedly planning to bring back a certain 10-man tag. Would you like to guess which one it is?
A certain 10-man tag?
Yeah, one of their big
the stadium matches. Whatever?
Stampede? Blood and Guts.
Oh, what does that entail? Just the big cage again?
Yeah, that one.
Is that the one Jericho, quote unquote, got thrown off of?
That was the one.
Onto a pillow?
Yeah, so there's currently no word on when it'll happen, but it'll likely be Jazz versus Kingston, Santana, Ortiz, Mox, Danielson. Which, I mean, I like the babyface team there, but
yeah,
I don't really care about Jazz.
And that's the problem, right? We dislike Jazz, but not from the perspective where we want to see them get beaten up. I just don't really want to see them anymore. I'm just kind of like, ugh. Anyways, we'll get to them as well. My last one. Chris Jericho has filed to trademark 2 names this month.
Wizard.
One is the Wizard, and do you know what the other one is?
AEW Galaxy?
No. So on May 5th, he filed to trademark the Wizard, and on May 6th, he filed to trademark the Watch. So I don't know. He hasn't made reference to it yet, but obviously he's got that in the
Wizard one they used last week, then also on this week's he referenced it because he did the fireball.
Because of the fireball, exactly. So my question to you...
How many stupid trademarks does he need?
No, because I'm not enjoying the sports entertainer gimmick. So what if his gimmick isn't sports entertainer, but instead like a wrestler having a midlife crisis and just trying all of these things to try and stay relevant? Like, to me, that's more interesting. I'm not convinced that's what he's doing. But
I would like to see some proof that that's what it is. Because then that makes more sense to me. But also, I don't know if I want to see that either.
That's why he dyed his hair and got in shape, right? These are all things and surrounded himself with new, younger, cool people like Garcia.
Triple H.
So I'm wondering if, I don't know, maybe I just want it to be something better, so I'm fantasy booking it, but I think it'd be more interesting to me than what they're doing now.
And I don't think that'll happen.
No, I don't either. I just don't know how you'd reveal it, right? But anyways.
Exactly. I don't know how you go about that necessarily.
I'm done with news. You?
Me also.
All right, so let's move into talking about what we just finished watching about 5 minutes ago, and that would be this week's episode of AEW Dynamite.
So we open the show with the Owen Hart tournament quarterfinal, which I feel like it's weird to call it a quarterfinal if it's the first round. I mean, it is a quarterfinal. It's just I feel like it's just kind of odd sounding.
And unfortunately, the show starts out with the match of the night.
Kind of peaks
pretty easily, for me at least.
Pretty easily.
Yep.
Some notables from the match: Dax slid between Cole's legs. He hit a series of jabs and then dropped Cole with a right hand and then another one. Cole took control of the match by sending Dax in the ring post underneath the bottom rope, so he kind of slid
awesome.
under the bottom turnbuckle and hit, so that's pretty cool.
It was kind of like the Mysterio when he slides through the bottom onto the floor, but instead the ring post stopped him. It looked good.
This would kind of come into the finish, actually.
Yeah, that's right.
Dax hits 2 consecutive German suplexes. Cole countered, hit one of his own. He hung on to kind of go for the consecutive chain as well, but Dax countered and hit a 3rd German suplex. Pretty nice slingshot powerbomb by Dax for 2, typical staple of his moveset now. Cole caught a mid-rope dive from Dax with a super kick, mid-air for 2 count. Dax countered the pin into a crucifix for 2. Imagine winning a match with that.
Impossible.
On this show.
Impossible. Well, no, because it wasn't the guy's finisher, so he can't. You can't counter the into a crucifix unless it's his finisher. That's a pretty protected finisher. And you're a veteran who should be putting. Anyways, we'll get there.
Foreshadowing.
We'll get there. Sorry, I'm ready to rant about that because we just watched it, right? And I'm still a bit heated.
Cole knocks Dax off the apron and he flops like a fish.
It looked awesome.
And you said, it was such an Ortiz thing,
right? You were like, it's sort of like Ortiz's diving his splash.
That's
thing.
Just like that, and then like I feel that's just like the kind of sell that Ortiz would do. Like
good.
that's such an Ortiz thing to do. And Dax barely beats the count in. Cole locks him in a sharpshooter for the win. Opposed to the main event, I thought that was a good way to finish it.
Yeah, I really like this match. There was awesome energy from the crowd right away, or as my notes say, the crows.
What?
I hit S instead of D when I wrote crow, because it's right beside each other in my defense.
The crows.
Nice
the AEW crows.
Really good intensity from both guys. It felt like right out of the gate, right, that this was an important fight for some reason. I love the sit out power bomb off of what is that? The slingshot? Is that what you'd call that?
Yeah,
I love that. It looks awesome. The pile driver Dax hit looked good. The sharpshooter, like the crowd went nuts for that sharpshooter, right? So I don't know. I thought this match was excellent. You had this like simple stakes, which I like, right? You've got a tournament match, but also like Dax's well-documented love of the Hart family made this kind of feel important to me. The crowd added to it. In-ring work was terrific. And I told you, and who was supporting me on this? Was it Punk? You said that Dax Harwood is becoming one of my favorite wrestlers.
Punk said like Dax is his favorite from the first half of the year.
Like every match he's in, tag match, singles match, doesn't matter to me. He's been fantastic. And then you've got Adam Cole, who's always great playing off of an over babyface, which Dax is at this point, right? I thought they worked really well together. Selfishly, I would have loved to have Dax win this match, but I didn't think that he really would. But still, nonetheless, like a really strong opener, and unfortunately, the high point of the show for me, pretty much. You?
Yeah, I thought this was pretty good. Like, a good choice for an opener. I thought it was a great choice for an opener. I think they could have done better. But they did a good job here, no doubt. But they're definitely capable of better. I think. Like what you said about the Dax Cash match, like good, but they're definitely capable of better. I figured Cole would get the win. But I liked how he went with the sharpshooter because it works on multiple levels, which I like. Harkening back to the only good thing main roster's done all year, Reigns and Rollins.
It was great.
Because it targeted the back that he had been working on whole match with Dax. It mocks FTR, who've been imploring that lately. And then it's also a tribute to Owen Hart. So I think that it works on those levels. So I think that's pretty cool.
It was cool.
A well done finish, or at least like choosing your finisher move. It was well done, and I can't say that for all the matches.
Yeah, they did not bookend the show with quality like this.
They could
unfortunately,
not do the same later on.
They did not.
Oh, funny we mentioned that. We get a Jeff Hardy, Darby Allin promo package. Darby says nobody wants to see them wrestle, and they will go nuts. In fact, they will not wrestle. That is
there's very little wrestling to be had there. Yep.
Hardy says he has been studying Allin. He also said something else. Did I catch it? Hell no.
My only note was Darby Allin, Jeff Hardy vignette. ... They're extreme.
That is true.
So that was
Allin says he asked Tony Khan one thing to waive off the rules and let him show what the dream match could be, or something like that. Solid package, and I guess it makes the stipulation change make more sense. Like you said, they are extreme. Obviously, a cue that Darby will do something stupid. In fact, that has happened.
Yeah, Darby was fine here. He seems to be getting a little more comfortable on the mic. It's him and Jungle Boy, right? Trying to just getting a little more comfortable as they speak, it seems. So yeah, it was fine. I mean, it's not a surprise that this is the match we're going to end up with, because they both like to do extreme stuff. So there you go.
Someone's going to dive off something. Another person's going to dive off something. Yep. And finally, someone will dive off something.
Diving off of things. The match.
Diving off of things. We just need like a mixed tag. You need like a team I would absolutely hate. Well, you need Jeff and Shotzi. And then you need like Darby and someone else. Who was another female who dives off of things? And don't say Cora Jade. That does not count.
Well, she dives off of... Oh, never. We'll get to that,
She sometimes does.
I don't know. I can't think of someone who dives off of things.
Io dives off of things.
Yeah, but...
Okay, well, you could do that. That works well enough.
I miss her.
Uh-huh. Wait, what's she doing right now?
I have no idea.
I just realized I don't even know what she's doing.
She's with Miro somewhere. Just they vaporized somehow.
Exactly.
Just dropped off the face of the earth.
Io Shirai's in Bulgaria?
Maybe. Could be touring there. I don't know.
Yeah, Io Shirai.
They have a strong independent scene in Bulgaria?
They could. That's not out of the question.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Next, we move to CM Punk versus hometown boy John Silver. A Punk comes in a Long Island jersey and matching ring gear, like with the colors, and he wants his music cut to hear the boos, and he finishes entrance with like boos, a la Tommaso Ciampa.
Yep. And Hangman came out for commentary here too, right?
Indeed, he did. Did I note a lot from this match? Nope.
Me either.
Couple of notables because it wasn't super long, and I don't know. I usually try to slim it now.
I like mostly. That. I like that about you.
Yes.
Cuts this under 2.5 hours, possibly. Although
possibly
we still start rambling about stuff anyway.
We always do that.
We do that
every time.
Yep.
There's a really crisp 3-kick combo from Silver and a brainbuster for 2. That was awesome. Punk caught Silver with a roundhouse kick, later single leg drop kick. That was kind of me scrambling for another notable. Punk won with a buckshot lariat because he's a little stinker. Then it was after he stared at Hangman, who was on commentary. Hangman walks down the ring after. Punk grabs the mic, asks if Hangman is angry. He thinks Hangman took it personal last week. Punk says it's just business when it comes to the title. He says he used to wake up and ask himself if he was a good guy. No. And this morning he asked if he was the champion. He said yes. No. He said he just destroyed Hangman's boy, and it is a blueprint for what he will do to Hangman, and he will shake his hand whether Hangman is conscious or not, and he mocking off his hand before Hangman walks off.
So it's weird, because this match started out babyface, and they're both kind of, remember we thought last week Hangman was leaning heel a bit, and then we speculated that maybe Punk's gonna like out heel him, and so that does seem to be sort of what's going on here. The match, I mean, it wasn't a lot. I did love the flurry from Silver with the kicks and the brainbuster, but my main notes here were how annoying JR was to me. So because he's a WWE guy, right, he can't not focus, not to use a double negative, sorry, he can't not focus on John Silver being short. So some of the things he said,
and it was like, Jack.
Initially describing John Silver is an overachiever, right? Like basically what I think you're not saying there that you mean is, look at him, he's so small, but he's actually still good, right? I think is basically what they're saying. Another one was, he's under 6 feet tall, folks. Like, look at this tiny man doing good. It's unbelievable.
Is Punk over 6 feet?
And then my favorite one, he's probably right around it, I think, was, this has actually turned into a wrestling match. Like, he's surprised that Silver could actually do anything, right? So I don't know, it just kind of, like, I felt like there was like multiple subtle slights of Silver, and I don't think that helps anyone. It doesn't help Punk, right? Because, like, wouldn't you rather say Punk is facing somebody of decent caliber and winning rather than like tearing this guy down? I don't know. It doesn't help Silver, obviously.
But he's too short.
He just can't help himself. He's so used to being someone in his ear being like, he's really small. Like, he, you know, like that whole, anyways, that prejudice that he has. I don't know. I like the buckshot finish just because heel's kind of Punk's kind of leaning into being a bit of a heel here.
He definitely kind of put the questions we had from last week.
Right, exactly. And how much, like, so much more interesting than babyface Punk. So much more interesting. So my like judgment is this match was all it needed to be, right? Like, it pretty much did what it needed to do.
We're lucky no one hit any right hands in this match, right?
Oh, that's coming up too. Yep.
So I thought it was a solid match, pretty much what we expect. I wish Silver got more of a flurry, but what he got briefly was pretty good. I like Punk leaning back into the heel side of things. It's his best work, of course, and makes him far more interesting.
Way more.
Much better challenger for Hangman, too, because obviously a heel-face dynamic is what you want, and also I think it just makes a better Punk. I don't think he should win, but this may make him better. And they could run with it after this match, too, if they wanted to. I mean, they could just lean back into babyface because it's Punk, but they could also keep going heel because Danielson kind of did that because he kind of adapted to being a heel for Hangman, and he kind of stuck with that. I mean, granted, it changed with the Blackpool Combat Club, but I don't see CM Punk joining Blackpool Combat Club.
I don't either. And speaking of Danielson, I would probably put Silver's kicks up there with Danielson. Like, his kicks are
you mentioned that when we were watching the match.
Yeah. They're awesome.
For sure. Yeah, especially the ones he got here. Like, that was, like, the only thing he really did, but it was
impressive.
It was perfect.
Yep.
Next we got Britt Baker and Jamie Hayter interview because they will not let me not watch a segment with this stuff.
It's been weeks and weeks and weeks of these people.
It's been at least a month. I swear. Like, it's ridiculous.
And Britt Baker used to be one of the most engaging things on this show, and they've lumped her in with this group, and it's just kind of, she's there, right?
Just don't really care now.
Right.
It's just, which is
too
not
bad.
Good. Baker will face the Joker in the women's tournament. I want it to be Candice LeRae.
Yeah, hopefully Candice LeRae.
Baker complains about not being able to prepare, and then she says she doesn't care and she will win. So I guess she's not complaining, or she is. I don't know. She says Hayter will win and the storm will be over.
great.
And haters on the forecast got him again.
Yeah.
Shivani points out they win. They face each other. Baker claims it will be a fair fight and the better woman will win. Yeah.
And then I did like at the end when she says the better woman will win. She'll like, there's a knowing glance between her and Rebel, sort of the implication that Rebel's going to be there to cheat for her as usual, right? So my question to you, because my interpretation was that these women were a little surprised when Tony announced that they'd face each other if they won. Have they not looked at the bracket? Or is that what we're to believe? That they're in a tournament and they didn't look at the bracket?
Or they haven't been shown it?
And see that, yes, you might face each other. I found that a bit strange because Britt Baker is generally like a smart heel, right? She's not a stupid heel. So the fact that they hadn't considered that they might face each other, because to me, that was the look they were giving was like, oh, yeah, I guess you're right about that kind of thing, right? So I don't know. I thought that was strange. But whatever, it was another segment with these people. So it's fine, I guess. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not interested so much in.
Yeah, it's fine. Doesn't make me care. Oh my gosh, I do not care. Now I definitely would like Candice LeRae to be the Joker because I think her and Gargano both coming makes sense. I would talk about that. I think that double tournament debut would be sick, and It's on the same show next week. Are they in Cleveland next week?
Although I have my doubts, although it might be a misdirection because I read something about Tony Khan saying he has interest in Candice LeRae. So trying to make it sound like in the future, maybe. But that also could be to throw you off the fact that she's already coming. Yeah. So that's why I didn't put it in news.
Right.
But
I think, I don't know, it just makes sense. And then also LeRae Baker will be pretty dope.
Yep.
And I feel like Candice LeRae could maybe be good as a babyface again, so they can.
She's a great babyface. She and Gargano are amazing babyfaces.
Yeah. It's just been a while.
Which is hard to find. We've talked about how, like most people can do a cool heel, but really good babyfaces is very hard.
I need Gargano versus Danielson more than anything.
The ultimate babyface matchup.
Yes, or like just even like because Danielson's more aggressive. It would just be like
amazing,
the perfect.
Oh
match.
Yeah, it would be great.
It would just be perfect.
Take my money.
And I will. Like, I mean, sure, people would complain, oh, it's WWE stuff, but run back Gargano Cole. I don't even care. That's just, it's gold. It's just so good.
I'd watch it.
Next we get Danhausen versus Tony Nese.
In-ring debut of Danhausen?
Correct.
I think, right? Yeah, unless it's been on the internet.
No, it is his debut. I remember seeing, like, AEW Star loses his debut, and it was Danhausen.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, whoops, I said it. There's nothing here. The finish comes when Sterling distracts Danhausen before he can curse, air quotes, Nese, and Nese attacks him, hits the running corner knee, aka the running Nese, for the win.
Yep.
I'm pretty sure it's called in WWE too. Sterling asks if the crowd are shocked, or the crows, and he isn't. He asks what Nese thinks, and he hits he asks Nese about what he thinks about Danhausen getting an entrance, and he didn't, which is true. He knees Danhausen again. Before he goes for it a third time, Hook walks out, and the heels flee the ring, and they shake, and Hook and Danhausen shake hands to form Hookhausen.
Quite possibly, it looks like, right? I thought this was a fine use of Danhausen, right? Like, the crowd gets to see him because they all really want him. Tony Nese gets a win, which I think he needs at some point, right? I don't think he's going to get a lot of them in AEW, but it's nice that he got one here. And smart Mark Sterling gets to speak, and he's pretty awesome. So all of this made sense to me. You and I are kind of like in the middle on Danhausen, which I don't think many people are. I feel like they either love him or they hate him.
This was like over.
And we're just kind of like, I get that people like him. He's not for me, but they're using him effectively, and it's not too much or too long.
I do think it is smart, though, because they're kind of like, it's an odd couple thing, which people like,
right.
It usually goes over well. And then like they're both really over. Like Hook and Danhausen are super over right now, so it does make sense in a way. And I don't see this having much longevity, so I think I'm okay with it in that sense as well.
And it's like the silent guy with the guy who was always talking nonsense, right? So that kind of works too. And I think Mark Sterling's really good in his role. So
yeah, I like him actually.
And the AEW's smart enough to go, listen, the crowd wants Hookhausen, we're gonna give it to them, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like if the fans want something really badly, Tony Khan seems to be the type that actually listens to them, so that's nice.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It was an absolute squash. Knee looked good. Danhausen isn't really fit in AEW, but he's used well enough. Like you said, I don't dislike him, so I won't complain too much. Hookhausen thing is over as hell. Hook is cool, so I'll see what comes of this. I don't see much longevity in it, like I said, so I'm okay with it. Like as a short-term thing,
too.
That's just kind of amusing or something, or just like popular.
And they're not going to throw it out there for like 10-15 minutes, right? So
it'll get a bit
fine.
And it'll be fine. It'll just be a fun little thing, which is okay. So far just a tag match on the buy-in, which is fine. That might be interesting. perfect place to put it, because I don't think I need that on Dynamite. Like, I think that is perfect placement there.
And a nice way to sort of keep slowly bringing Hook along, right?
Yeah, so I think this is like kind of an interesting thing, and like
a lot of it makes sense to me.
I mean, as he doesn't do much, it does show a bit of a different side of him. I mean, not by much. But
no.
It still does.
A tiny bit. Without him talking, he's revealing a little bit more about
Actually,
himself.
It even got a new side of him because he did, in fact, speak. There's also that.
Yep.
Next, we get the Wardlow vs. MJF contract signing. Best segment on the show.
And then I almost fast-forwarded through. Remember? I thought it was an actual...
thought it was a Dark Side of the Ring.
Thought it was a commercial for Dark Side of the Ring.
So there's a Dark Side of the Ring style package narrated by Jericho, highlighting the Wardlow MJF feud, dating back to a dog collar match. So that's kind of where it starts. So that's where they started the package, including talking heads from Taz, Jake Roberts, and Barry Horowitz, just like in the show.
Yes.
Which I really liked.
Yep.
Jericho didn't want to narrate. Like, he was like, "Why am I narrating for this jackass?" or something.
Right.
And then he found out MJF was paying. So
like, how much is he paying me? Okay, I'll do it.
And Jericho does narrate a lot of the time, if not all the time. I think most of the time he does on Dark Side of the Ring. So I really like this because it was exactly like the show, just in like a compact version for a
very clever idea.
I really liked it. I don't even know, like, it was pretty random, but I liked it a lot. It was really amusing. And then Wardlow entered, and another thing that was really funny was the Tron said "Boo Wardlow."
Yeah.
And of course, and it's in Long Island, so it actually even made sense for him to put that there.
It's just a cool way for a heel like MJF, who in kayfabe, right, has unlimited funds. So he would pay to have like a production team make this and a voiceover person come in just to sort of...
Pay Jericho, who was like a big rival of his.
Just to formally and further mock Wardlow. So I thought this was really clever
awesome.
and quite amusing. Yeah, I liked it a lot.
MJF comes out and Shawn Spears got like all white suit and a white chair.
That was
too,
a nice
which I
touch.
thought was pretty funny.
Yeah, that's a nice touch.
MJ says he loves Long Island people, and he compares this to David vs. Goliath, but like talking himself up, he was like saying he's like jacked and rich and stuff like that, and then he's against big dumb stupid oath. He says sarcastically the fans should not get up, as he's saying this as he's winking, that they should not get up and boo Wardlow out of the building when he speaks. And he says the floor is yours, allowing Wardlow to speak. Wardlow goes to speak, and he does in fact get booed. And MJF asks the crowd if he should speak. They repeatedly shout no, so Wardlow does not in fact speak. He says the first condition is he will whip Wardlow with belt 10 times, gets Spears to do the 10. He's like, not once, not twice. And then when he gets to 10, he gets Spears to do the thing.
Yep.
Which I like.
Me too.
Ty Dillinger is the best.
He was super over for a time, right?
I'd still like to play as him on 2K sometimes.
There was another guy I thought was actually capable of being a strong babyface.
Yes.
That they kind of wasted. Surprise.
He's been a good mid-carder, man.
Yep.
He asks if, wait. No. Wait.
There
we go. He says after that, Wardlow will have to face Spears in a cage match, and Wardlow's laughing, but then MJF says he will be the referee. So, interesting how that'll pan out. Wait, I don't know if it's working, like, if Wardlow has to win that.
Or he just has to do it. Yeah. They didn't say.
I don't know. We'll see. And then he says they talked about what happens if Wardlow wins Double Nothing, which is he gets released. But if Wardlow loses, he can never sign an AEW contract, telegraphing finishes.
I kind of feel like, I didn't love that part either. Because how does Wardlow not win?
Like, you could do something like that, but make it like less like super definite. Because then it's like, that's that. You know how it's. I mean, you know already, but still.
Yep.
Wardlow signs a contract and blows through security while MJF hides in the corner behind Spears. Wardlow takes out Spears, but to powerbomb MJF until Sterling makes a save, jumps on Wardlow, gets thrown off, and powerbomb through the table, as these things tend to pan out.
Yeah. One thing MJF said I thought was funny was he was talking to the people in the cheap seats. He said, "You're poor, but you're still beautiful," which I thought was funny.
Yeah, I love him here.
I thought MJF was great, obviously, and I think Wardlow, like, his subtle reactions and the way he's sort of sitting in the chair, he really looks like a guy who's just trying to patiently bide his time and just take whatever this idiot's giving him so he can get the chance to just kill him, right? Like, I think Wardlow, even though he's not saying anything, like, really believable as, like, go ahead, MJF, do what you need to do. I just need to wait you out, and then eventually I'll get my hands on you and make you suffer, right? So I think he's doing a really good job, and MJF is just the heel with deep pockets having a great time, putting more and more obstacles in front of Wardlow and mocking him at every turn. So, I mean, this segment got a lot of time, but I enjoyed it. I thought it was pretty good. And again, this MJF feuds, right? He does a great job. So they're making a star in this feud, and it's going well.
Yep. I like this a lot. I thought the the dark side of the ring style package was pretty funny, just like the show. I thought that was awesome. I love Long Island MJF. I thought he was awesome. I like to hear just like it's like I don't know. I really love him in this environment because it's like I don't ever want babyface MJF again. Remember when he was with Cody?
So it's
and that
interesting that he's full heel but getting cheered.
Exactly. I really like that because he can still be a full heel, which he's so talented at, and but change of scenery with them cheering everything he does is just like amusing. I like it for a change. And stipulations are essentially what he did with Cody. But I think we have a good build to the match, and the stipulation if Wardlow loses telegraphs it more, but it's okay, I guess.
And I think something else that AEW doesn't do that's good that WWE does is WWE would be tripping, the commentary would be tripping over themselves to try and explain why the crowd is reacting the way they are, right? Like they used to do in Canada. Oh, it's bizarro. I don't know what the fans are like. The fans here are back. But commentary in AEW just sits there and goes, the fans are smart, right? They know that this is his hometown, and so he's still an evil, bad person, but the people there are going to love him because he's a hometown boy, and they don't like try to explain it or justify it for us. They just sort of let us figure it out, and I appreciate that from them.
Right. Yeah, I thought it was great. Only segment that I really liked on the show.
Oh yeah, I liked it too. I think it was the standout segment. Yeah. You're right.
We got a quick Samoa Joe promo saying he will face the Joker next week. He says he's been doing Joker since he arrived. Then I guess we cut to Dutt and Lethal.
And
big
how
guy.
Dare you? Satnam saying 7'4" they said he is now. I don't know if that's
taller
accurate.
than Omos if it's right.
I feel like he's growing still.
Dutt says Joe probably wishes the Joker's Lethal or Singh, but it isn't. He says Joe has a big stomach and a small brain. Joe says he will win the tournament, and when he's done, he will come for them and settle things his way.
Correct.
What did you think?
I think did I lose all my notes suddenly?
Did you?
I did. Everything closed on me. I was just saying that I'm still liking what everybody's doing here. Like I think everybody speaking's doing a good job, but it needs to move forward, right? Because again, it's starting to feel like the whole hater Britt Baker, Tony Storm, where it's just like this feels like a very similar segment every week, and I'm enjoying it, but I need it to get going at some point, right?
Yeah, a solid promo, typical Joe again. His advancement in the tourney really hangs on, or hinges on who it is. I more than likely see him losing, which is fine. I don't really, I guess, because then he can do this feud. I don't really care about it too much. It does need to progress, but I don't really understand why it's on Dynamite so much. I just don't get it.
And Satnam Singh's listed NBA height when he was there is 7'2", so he has grown. Nope, they're just lying. They're exaggerating. Wrestling does that.
Yeah, doesn't even because Omos is like 7'3" or something.
Right. So they want him to be an inch bigger.
I don't know. That's my guess.
Because they did call him the biggest athlete in the world.
World's largest athlete.
Right. I think they're doing that little gimmick with him.
They could do that. Like, where's Paul White been?
Who cares? Why would you? You're gonna summon him by saying that.
Oh, Paul White.
Oh, you've said it twice now. It's like Beetlejuice. If you say it one more time,
Paul White.
Oh, he's gonna be on next week. Watch. We'll have to look out for that.
He's gonna beat up. Instead of the Factory, he'll beat up Gun Club and the Acclaimed.
I think you summoned him. It'll be your fault if he's on TV next week.
I hope he is, because that would just be really funny if that's how it works. Next we get Ricky Starks versus Jungle Boy for the prestigious FTW Championship.
Right. Oh, I put the FTR title. That's probably not right. Whoops.
That is so good.
So
notables, there's an arm drag off the ropes by Starks, kind of like a springboard-ish kind of thing, and then shortly after, Jungle Boy does his version, like the usual one, and then a drop kick. Jungle Boy countered out a Rochambeau, hit a super kick for 2. Later on, Starks countered the comebacker lariat with a spear for 2, which is pretty nice. Jungle Boy got in the snare trap. Starks got a rope break. Starks rolls out to grab the FTW title for some trickery and cheating. And Swerve makes sure he doesn't. Jungle Boy gets a roll up, but the ref is busy getting Swerve out, so he doesn't see it. And then Jungle Boy is kind of not happy, so he's kind of distracted. And then Starks takes advantage and hits Rochambeau to pick up the win. After the match, there's some stuff with Swerve was arguing with everyone, I guess, because Luchasaurus and Cage.
Because Christian bumped him on the way down, and
right.
Swerve did not like that at all.
Well, I don't like Christian, period. Even if you walk by me, I'd be like, yeah, what the hell?
Maybe.
There's like a stare off and stuff. Like they're just kind of standing around and stuff, and they're all on. And Jungle Boy's kind of like standing away, leaning on the ropes, happy about the loss, unhappy about the loss, and then Swerve and Lee leave because Lee came out. And then Cage hugs Jungle Boy.
I feel like they're sort of teasing the inevitable breakup, right? Because it was Jungle Boy with his back to Cage, with his sort of leaning on the ropes, looking upset. And there's that moment where Cage is behind him and you're wondering, is he just going to throw him in an unprettier or whatever? But I thought the match was fun. Lots of quickness from both men. But like, I don't love the finish involving a referee doing something that is completely different from what referees do all the time in this company, right? Like, they don't hop out of the ring to stop somebody that
like
walked
he can do
down
it in the
ramp,
ring, but
right? So I thought that was I didn't love that necessarily, and it's Starks winning makes sense only because like Jungle Boy's above the FTW title, right? Like he doesn't need that. It looks like we're gonna get Swerve Christian almost, if that's where we're going. And man, if that's the case, fine. But Swerve better win.
Swerve can't lose that.
Right? Christians, well, we're gonna see veterans that I think are there they should be there to build the younger talent. That's not gonna happen later in this show. But I hope that is what happens if Swerve and Christian meet. I do kind of like, it gets a bit confusing, but the mixture of people and groups here, right? That they have multiple kind of parallel stories that are kind of crossing over a little bit. So I have no problem with that. But yeah, the match was fun. Both of these guys are similar, right? Really quick, really athletic guys. So a pretty good match.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I thought it was a solid match. Nothing amazing, but there's some good work here. I expected a little more for some reason, but I think it was still good. Highlight for me was the spear catching the lariat from Starks. Finish I thought worked pretty well, other than like I guess pointing at the ref thing that's not great, but I think generally is a thing because I think Jungle Boy is above this, like you said. I think he's better than Starks, but also what would Jungle Boy do with the title? So I think it worked in that regard. Mm-hmm. Post match stuff wasn't much. Definitely teasing the Christian Cage turn. If it is Swerve versus Cage, they're like Cage cannot win.
I hope not.
Should be legally restrained from winning.
The Rochambeau looks cool too, right?
I like Rochambeau.
It looked good here. Although he can't hit it on huge guys, but it looked good on Jungle Boy.
Yeah, it's kind of like a Dominator, but different and cool.
Yep, I like it.
I don't like when Lashley does the Dominator, but he just drops him. I like when he like slams him down with force.
Agree. Way better that way. It's like Kevin Nash's lazy power bomb.
Exactly. That's
let gravity do the work, bud.
Exactly. Except like at least that is like taller. Like I don't know which one's worse actually, because like both of them are not. I don't know. Like,
basically,
like Nash is like he's lazy,
the
but
Nash
like
power bomb is no more impact than like Darby Allin just missing a coffin drop. It's the exact same thing, right? And that doesn't pin him. But anyways,
right. Next we get Jazz victory speech.
Question mark? Because even commentary are like, for what victory exactly? Right? Like I think it was ironic.
Let me think.
Almost. I don't know.
Maybe the fireball thing.
I guess.
Is that a victory?
I don't know.
Did they win a trios match or something?
I don't know.
I feel like
commentary seemed confused, so I was too.
I am not able to tell you what their victory is right now. Parker spoke first to the AEW Galaxy, welcomed fans to their air quotes victory speech. Then Matt Menard was yelling and saying how great it was to be part of the faction and the greatest faction ever, which is disrespectful. And also his nipples are hard.
Yeah, that was how he started out.
That was how he started.
It's odd.
Yeah. Jericho said there are a lot of hometown heroes tonight like him since he was born down the road in Manhasset. Is that a place? I don't know. Jericho said he moved quickly because this place is a dump. The fans booed. That's kind of how you like go like I'm from here, but then you kind of like retain the heel heat, I guess.
Yep.
Jericho said if you have a problem with that, he'll throw a fireball in your face because he's a wizard.
Trademark.
Yep.
Cha-ching.
Jericho said they did exactly what they said they would do since they eliminated Kingston, Santana, and Ortiz, as he would say. Stupid.
With an S?
Yeah, exactly. Or like 2 E's and an S.
Yes.
Jericho told them to stay home because Jericho 216 said, I just burned your face, which I thought was funny, but I don't know where the 216 comes from.
216? I don't either. I was like, it wasn't in February.
That was my thought. I was like,
it wasn't at 2:00.
It wasn't like.
I don't know.
Was it? I don't know. I thought if like the numbers made sense, it was funny.
Yeah,
I thought
but I can't. Think
I
of
just
what
burned
they do.
your face is funny. But Jericho told Kingston to stay home and to make sure he feels better, or she feels better. I guess talking about his wife, right? Yep. And if she doesn't, she should give Jericho a call. Daniel Garcia says when a sports entertainer stands in the ring with a pro wrestler, a sports entertainer wins every time. He just sucks.
Is he supposed to suck? That's what I'm wondering.
I don't know. I can't tell.
Is it meta?
I'm just gonna tell him he sucks.
Yeah.
And he can just suck. John Moxley music hit, and Mox made his way from the crowd.
And you find a light bulb went off over your head, and you realized why he's supporting.
I was like, why is he there? And then Excalibur cued in on commentary. He's like, Mox was friends with Kingston. I was like, right. Because I was like,
yeah.
I totally blacked out on that for a while. Because I guess like after like he went to rehab or whatever, like he was just gone, and it was just like, I guess like I just forgot everything before that.
Remember they were stealing shoes and burning things and.
They had the match with the Young Bucks. That was really good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I totally forgot. So that's
weird.
why he was coming, I guess. Mox also ended Jericho's title run.
Right.
In the eye patch saga. That's interesting because he eye patched Santana, so maybe there's hard feelings.
Extracted.
Can they coexist?
Extracted. Can they coexist?
It was not extracted, but it was harmed.
Right.
Quite severely. To the point where an eye patch was required.
Mm-hmm.
Mox was at the ramp, and Jericho told Moxley he'll give him one chance to leave for 3 months for another sabbatical. Jericho said there's only one of Mox and 5 of them in the ring. Danielson made his way out with Yuta and Regal. Jericho said it was still only 4 of them because Regal counts for some reason.
Right.
And 5 of Jericho's guys. And then Kingston with burn marks on his face and Proud and Powerful were on the other side of the ring behind Jazz. And 6-on-5, they beat down Jazz. There wasn't much. It was just like a big brawl. And it ended with Regal hitting a right hand to Jericho.
We even backed it up to listen, and he clearly hits a left hand.
JR called it as a right hand, but he clearly left.
Well, Regal's pretty famously left-handed, right? And JR, it's a big right hand. Nope, that would be
it was not.
Exact.
I don't know how you messed that up.
But anyways, yeah. So my eyes were kind of glazing over a little bit with the Jazz stuff, but then when the Blackpool Combat Club showed up, I got more interested, obviously. So I don't know, man. I'm still not into JAS at this point. I don't know if Regal's group can save it and make it interesting, maybe, but if they still kind of just have that go away heat for me. Like they're just taking up time every week on TV. I'm still not into it. I don't know if you are yet, but I am still not.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't know if this bodes particularly well for Blackpool Combat Club. We'll see, I guess.
Yeah.
I thought it was fine. Jazz promo wasn't bad. It just wasn't great. Didn't feel too different. At first, I thought Blackpool Combat Club was coming out was odd, but Excalibur once again helpful, so it made sense.
He's
Brawl
the best.
Was standard. That was a pretty nice right hand.
It was the best right hand ever from the left side.
The man's right instead of the women's right. Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Next, we got a quick Deeb Rosa package. Excalibur says Deeb took things in her own hands. I don't remember what he was referring to. AEW Talking Heads talked about Rosa will be hard to beat. Dustin Rhodes was there because he talked about being a mentor and coach for Rosa.
Right.
So that's cool. Pretty sure package, nothing much of note.
I liked it. It was really quick, but I thought it was better than, I was a little underwhelmed by their interaction. Was it last week? Like, I thought it was okay. I thought this was better, but very quick. So yeah, it was fine. A slick little package.
Yeah, I didn't know much, and Dustin Rhodes was in it, so.
There you go.
Lame.
True story.
Next we got, oh boy, Jamie Hayter versus Toni Storm, Owen Hart, quarter final for the women this time.
The payoff to all of those amazing promos they've been doing.
And the tag match on Rampage, okay.
Surprised it wasn't the main event, frankly.
I guess they had to save another banger for the main event.
They did.
Right.
Anyways, go ahead and talk about it and all.
There's a snap suplex on the outside from Hayter, which was solid.
It was almost like a twisting, like, to the side. It was
kind of twisting, but then it was kind of.
It was more like to the side than overhead.
Like she twisted and then.
Yeah, it looked cool,
yeah.
I thought.
Hip attack in the corner, followed by tornado DT in the ring, and then another one on the outside from the apron by Storm.
Mm-hmm.
There's a near Nagi on the apron by Hayter, or Hate, as I called her, because no R. The finish came in. Storm rolled Hayter through a backside, hit a short pile drive.
Very short pile drive.
Which is the new Storm Zero, I guess, for the win. What did you think?
I actually quite liked this match, and I preferred it to the main event. So I'm jokingly saying switching their spots. I thought this was a very physical match, some high impact stuff. I wasn't sure I was going to like this, but I actually really did. I thought they worked hard, took some pretty hard bumps. I liked the backslide transition into the quick pile driver too for the win for Storm. Not to spoil reviews coming up, but this blew away any of the women's tournament matches in NXT, in my opinion. was way better than the repetitive segments leading up to this. So I was quite happy with this as the payoff. I thought this was a good match. I don't know. I have a feeling I liked it more than you, but what did you think?
Yeah, I thought it was fine. Another short women's match stuck in the middle of the show. Pretty much what I expected. Nothing great, but not horrible. Storm wins, of course. No surprises there. I don't know. I didn't really care. It was just kind of.
I liked it. I quite liked it, actually.
It was all right.
Yeah. I mean, it suffered from the old, it's not a very long match, and it had a commercial break, of course, but I thought they fit a lot of stuff into this. I thought it was good. I liked it.
Next we get a Sky Kaz package. Sky said it was kind of 2 segments, but I just lumped them together.
Yeah.
Sky says he wants to put respect on his name in the TNT title. It showed a clip of when they became the inaugural tag champs, him and Kaz. Sky recaps their history and says it will be friendly fire on Rampage, and there can be only one face of TNT. They kind of did a weird thing where they swerved because he's gonna be face for the match or whatever, or he has been doing that, and then he turned on Kaz after because there was that accidental cheating thing where Men of the Year cheated or Paige cheated and he didn't see it, that kind of thing.
Right.
But then he turned heel anyways, which I saw someone say they kind of I don't know, they did it too fast. You could get weeks of that where he's pretending to not know about the interference.
Because I don't know if they planned on having Men of the Year be babyface-ish, but when Sammy and Conti started getting that massive heat, they kind of were forced to do something.
The thing I saw was I think it would be smart is you could do this fake babyface thing where Sky's wanting to bring prestige to the title, and Paige and Lambert keep interfering without his without his knowledge, and then eventually do but they kind of just hotwired that into one.
Yeah, and or even Sky could be acting like he doesn't know they're doing it, but does know they're. Yeah, exactly. That would be cool.
Then it kind of goes right into a Kaz interview, and that's cut off by Sammy Guevara pretty much immediately. And
wearing some the feather collar on his jacket is pretty nice.
Him and Conti are actually mixed tag champs in AAA.
Oh, nice.
They introduced those.
That's cool.
Yeah. He says Kaz may know Sky, but he's not the same now. He cannot be trusted. Kaz says he knows who to trust himself, and tells Sammy to be unlikable somewhere else, which I thought was kind of funny.
Yeah.
It was a solid promo from Sky. It's solid stuff, but nothing much. Kaz part was less good, but the last line was funny.
Yeah, he said, "Your vlog sucks" was the last line, right? Because I forget what Sammy said to him. Oh, see you later.
Right, he went, which Sky also said.
Clever or whatever. Your vlog sucks. Yeah, I don't know. It didn't do much for me, but it was fine, I guess. I liked getting Sammy on TV because I'm enjoying his heel work, right? So him and Conti, I think, are pretty awesome in their roles. Mm-hmm. So the Kaz Sky match will probably be pretty good. I mean, I don't imagine there's any chance Kaz wins, but yeah, this was a fine little segment.
Mm-hmm. Next,
main event time. I bet you don't have a ton of notes on that one.
There's a decent amount.
Oh, really?
I guess.
Okay.
Against my will.
Jeffrey Nero Hardy.
Jeffrey Hardy versus Darby Allin, quarterfinal for the Owen Hart Cup tournament. Mm-hmm. Anything goes because ladders.
Because they're extreme, brother.
And Darby's got some back pain, which is kind of cool, but his face paint is once again uninspired. It looks kind of par for the course. So Darby hit a shotgun drop kick, sent Hardy in the corner right away, and then a suicide dive, which it was pretty effective.
Because it took Hardy out for 20 minutes
while
Jeff
Darby was just lying there for ages. While Darby set up a bunch of chairs.
10 chairs, maybe?
When he's done, Hardy hit a flapjack on the steel stairs. I'd say that's probably accurate, actually.
Yeah.
Either
it was
10.
8 to 10, I think.
It's either or no, not 12.
I think 8.
Or 8 or 10 is definitely in that ballpark. Jeff Hardy threw Darby over the stairs, was just positioned beside the ring. Mm-hmm. And Darby jumped over and rolled over, which Cora Jade did not do.
No, she did not.
So he kind of avoided that, but then Jeff runs in with a solid flying clothesline from the steps. So
that looks good.
That was pretty solid. Darby climbed a tall ladder in the ring and jumped off with a swanton onto Hardy, who was on the seated chairs on the outside. So that was a giant
crazy
fat
spot,
dive.
But yes. I thought Darby took more of it than Hardy did. He landed back right on the chairs, the row of chairs.
Darby took it because Darby just likes to do stupid things.
It's pretty crazy.
Darby missed a coffin drop on the apron because why punish yourself that much when you can punish yourself more?
Right.
Darby's laid out on the side of the steel stairs. Jeff goes for a swanton, misses, so he missed something too.
Mm-hmm.
Not as much. Darby connected with the coffin drop for 2. Jeff countered the pin in a crucifix pin,
MJF.
and he got the win. Huh?
You said MJF countered it into a pin.
Did I? I don't know. Jeff.
There you go. Yeah. So that bothered me, obviously, but did this not feel rushed to you?
Yeah, it feels like there's like minimal action between like getting to different dive spots.
It felt like they were, supposed to have 15, and then when they got to it, it's like, oh, you guys only have 9 minutes, or I don't know how long it actually was, right? But it felt rushed to me. There really wasn't much wrestling to speak of. That is not generally my favorite type of match. This isn't a Dynamite main event to me, and Jeff Hardy, as I've been sort of hinting at, countering a successful coffin drop is not cool as far as I'm concerned, right? Like that move finishes people. If he missed it, it's one thing, and then you want to cover him, but he hit it, and you still ended up countering it for a pinfall victory. I don't like that. Hardy should be putting over people exactly like Darby Allin, and maybe this feud continues or something, and Darby gets his win back. I don't know, but that's I don't know. He shouldn't be successfully countering these young guys' finishers. Not a fan of this match at all. Obviously, the one spot was pretty spectacular off the ladder in the ring. But I don't know. I did not enjoy this. This is not a type of match I like. I don't really need to see Jeff Hardy. I don't really need to see Jeff Hardy pinning Darby Allin cleanly off of his finisher. You?
Yeah, I didn't love this. It was pretty much what I expected. In between setting up dive spots, there's just minimal action. Some people may enjoy this a lot. I thought it was just whatever. It wasn't like horrible, but I didn't like it.
Nope.
It was better than the tables match, so
that is true. It was. Yeah, it was.
But it wasn't great. Didn't keep my interest except for that one spot where Darby decided to do something stupid, but that was cool because I was just bonkers.
Mm-hmm.
Other than that, there was some solid stuff, nothing great, just very little wrestling. Not the type of match I'd put in the main event slot or really in AEW. Like they're good at these no DQ matches with some 6 spots, but usually those have more substance outside of the spots. This is more or less just 2 Daredevils doing that stuff and not much else. Kind of rushed. I don't hate it. I just didn't love it and I didn't need it. It's at least like I at least did not need it in such a prime spot on Dynamite, and
exactly.
I don't love the finish either.
Right.
And I don't know why Jeff is winning. If he better not advance. That would just be sad.
He might. Who knows, right?
Mm-hmm.
So overall thoughts, I guess this show is a bit of a mixed bag for me. Everything in ring outside of the main event, I was totally fine with. Really enjoyed the Cole Dax opener, the Storm Hater match. I quite liked it. Over delivered. I liked it quite a bit. Jungle Boy Starks was a fun little match. All it needed to be, I thought. Just the main event, like I said, was a miss for me. As you said, the mock Dark Side of the Ring vignette was probably the segment of the night, and none of the other ones were bad. They were at least fine. So my overall grade, it's honestly hurt mostly by the main event, which kind of left a sour taste in my mouth. But the show still, at the end of the day, it wasn't a chore to watch it, right? So I gave it a B-. And just, I'm anecdotally noting, I feel like it's been a while since I've really like loved an episode of Dynamite. Like,
yeah, it's been like
I want to come
passable.
down here and be like, let's get an A. Like, we used to get some of those back in the day. So I need them to sort of step up their game again. It's never a bad show. I always enjoy it, but I want to love it, and I haven't loved it in a while now. Pay-per-views are different. Their pay-per-views are like home runs every time.
Kind of have to be when you have like so few of them.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so it was an okay show, mixed bag, like you said. I think the good matches I liked were Harwood and Cole, and then Starks and Jungle Boy were good. The best segments were, I think, Punk's promo after his match was pretty good, and obviously the contract signing was really nice. Anything like kind of middle of the road, I thought Jazz promo was fine, Danhausen squash, and Punk versus Silver, like the match.
Mm-hmm.
And then the stuff I didn't love was the main event and the women's match. I didn't think either of those were particularly
How dare
great.
you? The women's match was good.
Nah. I think overall, I think that's fair. It evens out to B-, like
nice.
Below average.
But not a chore.
Not a chore. Waiting on something great.
Exactly. All right, so that wraps up our Dynamite review, and we'll move into our little trivia segment that we like to call Off the Top of His Head. All right, we're back for more Hall of Fame Trivia 2, right? So I think we've got 14 or 15 questions in the second half of this. And we find this book goes from all over the place, right? Like super easy to impossible. So we'll see what we've got for you today. First one. Which of these people were not inducted into the Hall of Fame in 2007? And to be fair, Hall of Fame is not one of your like specialties by any means,
right?
Because we don't even watch it, to be honest. So which one was not inducted in 2007? Jerry the King Lawler, Mr. Fuji, Jim Ross, or Yokozuna?
Lawler.
No.
Fuji.
Nope. You're doing great so far.
Ross.
No, Yokozuna. And the answer actually says Yokozuna P. So I don't know what that means. Like, they went through that many versions of him. They replaced him. Anyways, the Dudley Boys. The Dudley. I think it's just a typo, as I'm seeing this book is maybe not the most professional thing as we get further into it here. The Dudley Boys were inducted into the WWE Hall of Fame by which former WWE Tag Team Champions? If you'd like options, you may have them.
Hardys.
So the other ones. Pick the other ones.
Edge and Christian.
Correct. You had to be one of those, right?
They wouldn't have, I don't think Hardys were back yet.
The late Eddie Guerrero was represented by which of these superstars on the day of his induction? Who was he represented by? I have options if you need them.
Vicky?
Is it Vicky Guerrero? It was Vicky Guerrero.
Well, who else would it be?
Chavo.
I guess.
Chavo, Benoit, and Mysterio were the options.
Was
Benoit still alive?
I
don't know.
I doubt it.
Which of these rappers has been inducted into the Hall of Fame?
Uh-huh.
Do you know which one?
I don't know.
Eminem, Diddy, Snoop Dogg, Dre.
So
should be pretty
Snoop
easy.
Dogg.
Correct. Goldberg's Hall of Fame induction was announced by...
The video game.
No. It's either Ross, Jerry the King Lawler, Michael Cole, or Paul Heyman.
I'll go Heyman.
Correct. How would that work out?
He's probably like writing or something. I don't even know.
I don't know either. Which of these individuals received the first Ultimate Warrior award? Ooh, boy.
That Connor kid?
Yes. Why did you know that?
Because...
Connor Michalik, maybe? I might not be saying that
Connor
correctly.
The Crusher. Remember, he's the kid with Daniel Bryan?
Yeah.
Yeah, that kid.
You got it. Honor him with an award named after an absolute homophobic dirtbag. Awesome. Yeah. Perfect. True or false? The Bella Twins were the only inductees into the WWE Hall of Fame in 2020. True or false?
No.
No.
Because I think Batista.
I don't know, but that seems like they would never just do one, right?
And I don't think if they did one, that it would be the Bella Twins.
And then I sort of went, maybe because it's pandemic, did they?
No, they did hold it off, but I think they lumped it in last year.
Right. Mark Henry's Hall of Fame induction was announced by which WWE superstar? And I have options if you'd like them.
D'Lo Brown.
No. The options?
Ron Simmons.
No. Kane, Titus O'Neil, The Big Show, or Umaga?
Titus O'Neil.
I almost said Umanga. Nope.
Big Show.
Correct. WWE Diva.
Should have been Umanga.
Diva. Wow, they used the D word.
The D word.
Natalia announced the induction of which of these legends?
British Bulldog.
No. Paige, Beth Phoenix,
Phoenix.
Charlotte Flair, Michelle McCool. Beth Phoenix is correct.
Divas of Doom.
Which of these boxers is a Hall of Fame inductee? Mayweather, Tyson Fury, or Anthony Joshua, who I don't even know who that is.
I would say Mayweather.
Nope.
Is it Tyson?
It is Tyson.
Okay, I thought
Which
it was Tyson? But
Mike Tyson or Tyson Fury?
Definitely Tyson Fury.
Correct.
I thought it was Mike Tyson, but I didn't know when it would be, so I didn't know if it was like that would have worked out or not.
True or false? Cowboy Bob Orton was inducted into the Hall of Fame by his son, Randall Keith Orton.
True.
Correct.
Why would that be false?
I don't know. In what year was the first WWE Hall of Famer announced? Interesting.
90,
do you want the years?
92.
Options? You are super close.
91.
You're super
93.
correct.
I think the Hall of Fame was in 93, but I don't know if they announced it that year or not.
Right. Who was the first? Didn't they already ask this? Who was the first Hall of Fame inductee?
They did.
That was the first question, and then they brought it back for question 28.
Andre.
What a professional document this is turning out to be. Wow. Who published this?
This is getting
Who proofread this? Steve Pierce. Nice work, bud. By Bridge Press. Interesting. All right, last question then.
Never going over a bridge ever again.
Roddy Piper was inducted into the Hall of Fame by whom?
Ric Flair.
Correct. Very good. You ended on a strong note, which I don't like. I like you to be stumped on the last one.
That book is giving you a decent chance.
We are at the mercy of that. I thought that book was going to be so helpful because I don't have to prepare my own trivia every week, but it's flawed.
It is helpful in a sense.
In a sense, I guess. And it could get kind of funny if it keeps being really bad.
Does.
It's just a recurring joke now.
Yeah.
But anyways, that wraps up our trivia segment. We're going to go back to talking about some wrestling from TV this week, and that taking a look at first NXT UK. So the show starts out with a recap package of the Devlin Dragunov situation ahead of their Loser Leaves Town match, which is tonight's main event. And then we go right into our opening match, which is a tag match between Smith and Carter taking on Gallus members Mark and Joe Coffey. We are told that the winner of this match earns a spot in an upcoming championship triple threat match for the tag team titles. So it starts out with Carter and Smith using their quickness and agility to frustrate the Coffeys early on. Joe finally gets control of Smith with a flurry, including a suplex and a backbreaker. Joe Coffey, that is, tweaks his knee, and Ashton Smith, right? Why can't I remember his first name? Ashton Smith takes over for a little bit before tagging out pretty quickly. Smith and Carter then isolate Joe Coffey and target that leg, which they're sort of saying like this is an indication that Smith and Carter are picking up their intensity and their desire to win, because now they're willing to target.
Killer instinct.
That's a good word for it. They're targeting an injury now. We get a huge boot by Ashton Smith as Joe Coffey's trying to fire up. We get an assisted 450 to Coffey for 2, which looked pretty cool, right? You actually thought cooler than the finisher, which was assisted as well, right?
Right. I like when they did like the electric chair cutter for their finisher a while back. That was better.
Awesome. Eventual hot tag to Mark Coffey. He cleans house, including a second row bulldog to Carter for 2, then a back suplex and a leaping kick for another near fall. We get the high-low basically by Gallus, but Carter comes in to make the save. And then Mark Coffey, I forget why, but he's out of the picture on the floor. Ashton Smith hits a chop block to Joe's bad leg, and Carter hits the assisted moonsault for the win here. I really enjoyed this match, and I was telling you as we were watching it, I'm really starting to like Smith and Carter in the ring. They started out in this match specifically showcasing their speed and athleticism, which we always know they have. Then they shifted to limb targeting, and then mixing in, they have some cool tandem offense, right? I think they're a very entertaining tag team. Still need some work in like the character department, but that's not a big deal to me. The in-ring is more important. I also like that they're kind of going with this uncrowned champion gimmick that kind of works for me. So I think they do deserve a title run at this point, and I feel like it's coming, and it'll probably coincide with the breakup of Mustache Mountain, I think, right? Because that's being heavily teased. So I really like this opener. What about you?
Yeah, I thought it was pretty good. I think Smith and Carter looking better and better each time. I think they could use a bit of work outside the ring, more so Smith. I think Carter's all right, but again, I think they could both use some work. But I think in the ring, they're definitely getting it down. Like, they've got some tag moves. While I don't think they're the best, I think they could use some better kind of offense, just because, I don't know, some of it's like one of them's like the silly string thing, or it's like a lot of assisted splashes and stuff. Which, I mean, some of it's cool, but I also think like they could use some better stuff. But I like their moveset generally. I think they're pretty good. I think they showcased more here. Little more aggression with the limb targeting. I think that made sense because it kind of helped them win as well.
Because their normal style's not getting them where they want to go, right? So they have to start adding things, which I like.
And they're teasing a bit of a Gallus issue as well. That is somewhat interesting. But I think this is a solid opener for UK.
Me too. We see Dragunov skipping backstage somewhere, getting ready for his main event match. Then we see A-Kid leaving Sid Scala's office, and a voice that will reappear several times. I don't know if it's the cameraman or who it is. It's just a detached voice. Asks him what he was talking to Scala about, and basically he says some stuff, but the bottom line is his match with Charlie Dempsey will be held under Heritage Cup rules, which is fine by me because pretty much every one of those matches has delivered anywhere from pretty entertaining to really, really good. I don't
remember why, but I was hoping for Fight Pit.
You did want Fight Pit, but I mean Dempsey A-Kid in a Heritage
rules.
That
is what I remember. I did request that. Many moons ago.
They listened to the podcast. One of the millions and millions as we rival Joe Rogan's listenership.
Indeed. We're catching up.
So this was nothing special, but I'm happy with the match that it's laying out, right?
Yeah, for sure.
We then get a first 200 NXT UK episodes highlight package that I'm not going to go over at all.
It was pretty cool seeing Gunther and Butch in there, though.
I was just going to say, the funny part was that so many of these people have new names.
Dewdrop.
Right. And they found a way to like
Pretty Deadly even
highlight lots of main roster stuff in there too, right? Like here they've gone on to do this. This person who used to have this name now does
Dewdrop challenging Becky Lynch for the title at Royal Rumble, which I had completely forgotten about.
I didn't hate that
until
match
now.
Either.
No, it's just like so forgettable. Like I completely forgot about it until now. I was just like, Oh yeah, right.
Yeah.
And like, yeah, it was fun. And it just makes me sad because Pete Dunne is no more.
Right. So them having to like sort of just randomly throw in that it's now Gunther and Butch and Dewdrop was kind of funny to me. So then we get the same Canberra person, detached voice, that talked to A-Kid, now talks to Amelia McKenzie in the hallway. Of course, Lash,
oh God,
legend, interrupts, and McKenzie accuses Lash of fighting too little and talking too much. Lash walks away, and my only response is Lash versus McKenzie. No thanks.
I was just like, I do not want this match whatsoever. I'm just like, no, thank you.
I've been reading some things, and it wouldn't surprise me at all that the locals are really not happy with this NXT invasion, right? The people that are going to watch these shows are like, I don't want to see
imagine,
this.
Yeah, I wouldn't. It would be like paying to see it would be like a less extreme version of like, imagine like you go to see NXT, like, right, and it was like when it was changing and you just had no idea, and you show up to NXT,
you show up for the rebrand,
and you show up for the rebrand, and you're just like, what is this? And you have to like watch Von Wagner do stuff. And
remember how frantic those first couple shows were? They were like brutal. Introducing 6-8 new characters at once. Remember the first show
LA Knight competed twice?
Right. It was
Braun
crazy.
Breaker.
Madness. Then we get, speaking of NXT 2.0 people, Nina Samuels, who
she's from 2.0.
I don't get her at all, versus Ivy Nile, who is from 2.0.
Seems like a veteran, but like also she's not that good. So like
So I think they kind of have her placed properly, right?
Like a UK equivalent of Natalia, because I think she knows how to do stuff.
Does she? I don't know.
Just not
maybe.
Good.
Ivy Nile, I was telling you, reminds me of Hook. That's the comparison I made. Young, jacked, silent, and so far being booked to look really, really strong and legitimate. So it kind of feels like that's what they're doing with her here. Anyway, she dominates early on the mat, and Samuels has to escape to the ropes. She then snaps Ivy Nile across the top rope, takes over for a little bit, even mocking Nile with push-ups in the middle of the ring. Samuels goes to Nile's face and like stretches her mouth out at one point, and then that just fires up Ivy Nile, who takes over, including catching Nina and hitting a fall-away slam, kipping up, hitting a running kick for 2, what I thought was a pretty decent flurry. We then get a drop toe hold into the corner that finally stops Ivy Nile, but she applies a dragon sleeper while was she on the second rope, I think, flips off the turnbuckle while kind of maintaining the hold, and then gets up and hooks it in even deeper, and Samuels has no choice but to tap out pretty quickly here. I thought the match felt a bit longer than it needed to be, because clearly
I don't think Samuels can do much.
I don't either. Clearly it was to showcase Nile.
I think they did a fine job of that. Not like
she looks impressive.
Wasn't amazing, but I think it was fine.
She needs more seasoning, but she's different from everybody else, and she's coming along, and she can already do some pretty cool stuff. I'm
surprised she's not in the breakout, but I guess they don't want her to lose. And
right.
She probably
I think
won't win the
they're protecting her a lot right now. And she's all over NXT 2.0 this week. So Samuels, I don't think is anything special, but I think like she's basically maybe slightly more than an enhancement heel, and I think she does a good enough job of that, right? Like, I don't think she's going to rack up many wins, but she's serving a role.
Probably not.
We then see Jordan Devlin. He's putting his entrance gear on backstage ahead of the main event. And then another NXT person, Damon Kemp, right? He tells us in a promo that
he's in Diamond Mine too.
Yes, he is now. He's here to learn the British style, and he'll fight Shaw Samuels, since Samuels seems to have a problem with that.
Does he? I guess that's probably something I missed.
I think he sounded okay, but I don't know what it is.
He also sounded kind of odd.
I don't believe him as a babyface. Like, I don't think he's likable. So I don't.
He's kind of got one of those faces.
I think that's a mistake so far, and
maybe it's even weirder because now he's in Diamond Mine.
And I might
this could have been taped, I guess. But
my bias might be that he's friends with Gable Steveson, and I have a problem with Gable Steveson.
Isn't he Bobby Steveson?
Who?
Him.
Who's Bobby Steveson?
I'm pretty sure him. Let me see.
Damon Kemp?
Yeah.
No.
Hold on. I'm pretty sure I just saw his Instagram.
Really?
Bobby Steveson, aka Damon Kemp.
Oh, interesting.
So.
Is he?
I'm assuming.
Cool. So yeah, I'm not a fan. I don't think he's working as a babyface, but whatever. He's brand new. He's got an amateur background. They're gonna like him. So this is easily the most confusing thing I saw this week, right? Remember the Mastiff Stars segment? So
they watched NXT 2.0 and like the meeting between Legado and Tony D'Angelo, and we're like, let's do a stupid version of that.
That is in my assessment. So they're dressed up, kind of formal, no ties, but I think suit jackets. They're sitting at a table, with like Godfather style mafia music playing.
Also, Charlie Dempsey's face on a mop.
Right, and a mop with Charlie Dempsey's face
Moppy
on it.
2.0.
Right. Stars then orders food, and it was funny because he's on the phone and he like summarizes what the restaurant has to Mastiff. Like, I don't know, like they have burgers and blah blah blah.
Like pizza, chicken burgers,
and he's like, I'll have that, which was pretty funny. Like he wants one of everything basically. Then they shift gears, talk about De Familia, and then they uncover a plate of donuts in front of Mastiff.
Is
right?
that what they did? I don't even know.
This was super weird and came out of nowhere. They seem to be like somebody wants these two guys on TV and they seem to be trying different. Remember the vest, it was all about the vest.
The quest for the vest.
So now somehow they're like comedy mobsters. I don't know. I'm not sure what's going on. And like you said, it feels like they're kind of copy and pasting the
It's like a half-baked version of the crappy segment from NXT, which apparently I also witnessed.
I mean, I think there's a chance that this gets weird enough to be entertaining because it was very strange and I don't know what's going on yet. But so far, I'm just confused. Like,
are they even feuding with De Familia? I don't even remember. Like, I thought the Dempsey mop was confusing.
Me too. So this is what I mean. So far, I'm confused, but it's definitely strange, and sometimes I like strange stuff. So I'll give it a chance.
I don't like strange. That movie sucked.
At this point, I don't know what's going on. The camera guy's back again, and he talks to Joe Coffey, who's looking a little bit introspective after his loss in the tag team match tonight. He says he may take time away, and he needs to be a better big brother. He's disappointed himself and his brother, and he's like basically choked up, almost crying as he sort of ends the interview. Then we get a Wild Boar promo. I don't know why I enjoy this guy so much, but I do.
I don't know how you get your teeth like that.
And so he said he's coming for revenge, that Eddie Dennis has weakened the pack, which I kind of like that choice of words, and Dennis is now the hunted. Dennis will see Boar when he wakes up in a cold sweat. And I like his promo style because it really suits his character, who's like almost like a not fully evolved human being, right? Or whatever he is. So I don't know what it is, but I kind of dig this guy.
Yeah.
So I was totally fine.
Yeah, I like him a lot. He's interesting. I like his look. I think he's interesting. He's just like, he's short, but he's not. He's under 6 feet tall.
I feel like he's like if you took Pete Dunne and just compressed him down.
And took out most of his teeth.
Yeah, and so I don't know.
How do you get your teeth like that?
His promo style fit, right? So yeah, I was totally fine with it.
No, I liked it as a quick little thing.
Then we get another strange vignette, which is Kenny Williams, right? So he's frantically watching highlights of Tiger Turan, and like he's clearly obsessed with this. He has the classic like wall of photos connected with pieces of string all over the place, right? He says he'll find out who it is and rip him limb from limb. I mean, it's kind of funny because we all know who it is. I mean, if we're wrong, I'll be shocked, right? If
it looks like him too,
right? But I think he's actually a pretty good actor, right?
I like him.
He's doing well in this unhinged role. But I think it's odd that they placed back to back like revenge-centered segments, like Wild Boar, I'm gonna get revenge, and then this guy, same idea, but so maybe not.
I feel like Tiger Turan is the one getting revenge, yeah.
But
if it's who we think it is, obviously.
Right, but I thought it was pretty interesting, to be honest.
I like him actually.
He's a good performer.
I like him as like the mid card guy, and now with Devlin gone, I have to pick a new favorite, which would be Noam Dar. But I guess Kenny Williams is one of the guys I like.
Yep.
And yeah, I liked it. Babyface heel.
So we get Jordan Devlin versus Ilya Dragunov in the main event for the NXT UK Championship.
Loser leaves.
Added stipulation, yes, loser leave town. I have lots of notes on this one, apparently, so I'll try and go quickly.
Can't blame me.
I thought definitely enough stakes on this match, right, to make it sort of matter.
For sure.
Holds and counters early to show how evenly matched they are.
And different because the last one was the empty arena.
And I was underwhelmed by that one, honestly.
I liked that.
I liked it, but I didn't love it.
Yeah.
Because both of these guys are awesome, so I was hoping for more.
Yeah.
We get a forearm exchange. Devlin goes to the eyes to get an advantage early on, establishing that he is in fact the heel here. It felt like they were setting up for a superplex, but remember, Devlin ends up hitting a brainbuster onto the top turnbuckle.
And then he hits like hard to the floor.
Yeah, Dragunov falls really hard. I thought it looked awesome.
Right.
So then from then on, Dragunov is selling his neck, which works into this match quite a bit here. So Devlin obviously attacks the neck, hits a backdrop driver and a leg drop to the back of the neck, among other things, in a little flurry here. Devlin blocks a running clothesline from Dragunov, and Dragunov ends up running into the ropes, and like he was running so fast that the whiplash sort of hurt his neck, which I thought was a cool little detail as well. We get a clothesline attempt countered into a nice Spanish fly by Devlin, who then is like strutting around and posing for the crowd a little bit. We get a deep single leg crab by Devlin after some stomps to Dragunov's neck. We get these raging downward elbows by Dragunov, stiff running clothesline by Dragunov, and a discus clothesline. Both men are down for a little bit. We get a German suplex, kick to the back of the head, and another German suplex from Dragunov. A gotch lift into a suplex by Dragunov. Then a huge slap knocks Dragunov off the top rope to the floor. We get a running punt by Devlin, but this time it's to the back of Dragunov's neck, which makes sense. Obviously, this is the targeted area. And then a springboard moonsault from Devlin that looked pretty good. We get an inside-out neckbreaker by Devlin for 2 as he continues the attack on Dragunov's neck. We get a superplex and a falling forearm to the grounded Devlin for a 2 count. Devlin then dodges Torpedo Moscow. Dragunov runs into the turnbuckle. We get a Devlin inside, and Devlin gets the pin here, even though Dragunov clearly gets his foot on the ropes, but the ref didn't see it. Johnny Saint comes down, and obviously he's going to restart the match. We get a headbutt by Dragunov, and he sort of grabs his neck. He kind of regrets leading with the headbutt, which, again, a detail I liked. I really liked his selling of the neck in this match. We get Torpedo Moscow, but it's countered with a Destroyer, then a Brainbuster, but Dragunov kicks out. I thought that was an awesome little sequence.
Sweet, yeah.
Devlin then goes for a 450 but misses, and Dragunov hits Torpedo Moscow to the back of the neck. We get a headbutt exchange, German suplex, and another Torpedo Moscow, and Dragunov retains his championship in about 15 minutes. Did you want to go first?
Rigged.
What were your thoughts on this?
Rigged.
What do you mean?
Should have won.
Oh, okay.
Referees screw up all the time, man.
It's true.
SummerSlam 2011, man.
It's true.
Did Cena get a redo? No.
Johnny Saint wasn't there paying attention, you know?
Johnny Saint is a dumb idiot.
What did you think of the match?
Dumb geezer. I liked it a lot. I think it was pretty good. I think Devlin was really good. Like the neck targeting.
I feel like he got showcased good. More here.
He got more showcased.
I thought so. Which is fine.
Kind of fitting, I guess.
Yep.
I think the neck targeting was really cool because I think it started out good with that brainbuster on the ropes, and then it also kind of lends itself to his finisher, which is cool.
Yes.
And then Johnny Saint had to screw that up. I like Devlin though. Dragunov, like, because he had that final flurry, which took a lot. So at least that puts Devlin down for
right.
Like it was a lot there. What, 2 finishers within other things. So
right.
I think it was good. I liked it better than the first one.
Me too, definitely.
I think they are like skilled enough to put on a better match without stuff. I like the other one still, but I think this one was really good.
Yeah, I like this one considerably better.
Nice last hurrah for Jordan Devlin or whatever he will be named next. Because I am almost positive he will get his name changed, and I will cry myself to sleep.
Depends. Did he have that name before, or is it his real name? I don't know.
I will check right now.
So yeah, really good match with Devlin. Seemed to me like he controlled the majority of it, and he was kind of working like a methodical style, and it came across as...
Damn it, his name is Jordan Devlin.
Yeah, he's done. He came across as like relentless and calculated, which I like, targeting the neck almost the whole time. And then Dragunov continues to be awesome in this guy who can take all the punishment and keep on fighting and never stop, right? I thought he sold his neck really well. The false finish was fine, but I did telegraph the actual finish, right? It tends to do that. They should honestly do a false finish and then have the same person win, right? That's
what they should have done here. This is the time.
Right. Excellent TV main event, I thought. I thought Devlin in particular looked impressive. Not that Dragunov didn't, but I really felt Devlin looked awesome here.
Remember when he was Cruiserweight champion? That was
and so he's going to probably head to NXT 2.0, where my note says he'll job to Solo Sikoa, right? That feels about right to me.
Right. And he will get his name changed, I bet, because it would appear as if his name is Jordan Devlin.
So that's, they can't have that.
That is sad. What is Pete Dunne's really? Now I'm curious.
Overall, I really enjoyed this episode. We got 2 strong matches. I thought the opener and main event were
his name's Peter, so.
Were both really good.
Yeah, for sure.
So in a 1-hour show, that's really strong, right? And I enjoyed the Wild Boar promo. And then we got 2 strange segments with Mastiff Stars and the Kenny Williams one, which I liked. So I actually had a lot of fun this week watching this show. And on the strength of those 2 matches especially, I gave this an A- this week. Because for an hour show with 2 really good matches and a segment I really liked, like that's a pretty good show. So A- for me. What about you?
Yeah, the opener was quite good. I think puts Carton Smith in a good spot. Segment, there was the 2 weird ones which were pretty good. Oh, right, Wild Boar. That one was good. And then the main event was really good. I think the squash with the women was okay, but that was just, it wasn't really there much. I didn't love Damon Kemp or Lash Legend.
No, me either.
So
hence the minus of my A.
Right. I think it was a really good show though. I think I liked it a lot too. I will also agree with that.
It's probably my favorite show of the week by my grade, right?
Yeah.
And again, an hour when when it's good, it flies by, right?
Yeah.
If you put a couple good matches on there, it's not a chore at all. Easy watch.
It does make me miss NXT, but at the same time, I like 2 hour black and gold NXT.
100%.
Like,
that's
I'll
as
take,
good as it gets.
Right.
Super indie
1 hour
NXT.
NXT was sick though.
Super indie NXT was a special time.
Yeah. Even 2 hour NXT was good, but 1 hour NXT, it this does harken back to a bit.
Perfect segue, because we're going to move into our next segment. We're going to talk about that madness, and we like to call this Any Other Wrestling Business. All right, so NXT 2.0, you saw the main event. I know that. Did you see anything else? I can't remember. I'm old.
Was the Legato segment this show?
There was some Legato stuff.
Where they met D'Angelo, or is that last week?
No, that was last week. The sit down?
Okay, the sit down.
How dare you?
Right.
Yes, that was last week.
No, I saw the main event.
But we do get plenty of them
this week. That's it.
Okay, well, so let me fill you in on all the glorious stuff you missed.
I'm sure you will.
We start off with a recap of the main event of last week's main event, which was Braun Breaker defeating Joe Gacy to retain the NXT Championship.
Breaking.
And remember when it went off the air, I don't know if you remember, there were two hooded figures on the
apron. Yeah, I saw the actual
apron.
clip of that on Instagram.
So then we get footage of what happened after that, which was the hooded...
So why not put it on the show?
I don't know. They attacked Braun Breaker after the show went off the air, laying him out, putting him on a stretcher, and carrying him away. So kidnapping. It's like they're obsessed with it. It's crazy.
Maybe
now.
They're huge Steiner fans. Maybe
it's
Joe
coming
Gacy's
up again.
Just a Steiner super fan.
So we then see Gacy in a car saying Braun thought he won, but there are many forms of victory. Braun is pulled out of the car with a burlap sack on his head, and Gacy tells Braun this is Braun's time to be all alone. Sure. He laughs maniacally as they apparently leave him in a field, I guess. It's just not interesting. It's silly. It doesn't feel like they're trying to be dramatic, and it's not working for me. More kidnapping, more cryptic words from Gacy. Who really cares? And when you have so many juvenile comedic storylines in this show, like you still have a character who wrestles in pajamas, right? But now you're trying to make an attempt at drama. It's too big of a range for me, and you're not doing any of it well. So that's even more of a problem, right? Mm-hmm. This feels very much main roster now, and it's just no reaction from me at all. It's just kind of there, you know. We then get Toxic Attraction defending the NXT Women's Tag Team Championships against Wendy Chu. Speaking of people in pajamas. And Roxanne, what's her last name?
Perez,
that's right. So the faces end up attacking Toxic Attraction before the bell. So they have control of Dolan early on. We get a really sloppy head scissors into a roll-up by Roxanne, which surprised me because she's pretty good usually. JC Jane tags herself in, takes control of the match. The heels isolate Roxanne for a bit, and it's really boring for the most part, according to my notes. I believe me. Jane turns her attention to Wendy Chu on the apron. That allows Roxanne to escape. She makes the hot tag to pajama-clad Wendy Chu. Chu holds the rope so Roxanne can hit a dive to both of Toxic Attraction on the outside. Mandy Rose then grabs Wendy Chu's ankle, then that allows the heels to take over the match again. We get a handspring twisting splash by Roxanne, followed by Chu's sleepy elbow drop. Things break down, and as Roxanne sets up for a code red, she gets hit with a super kick and pinned by JC Jane after 10 minutes. Chu then attacks after the match, but the numbers game gets the better of her. I thought this was just okay. I don't think Roxanne looked very good here, and I've seen her look better many times before. And Wendy Chu even, because I think outside of her stupid pajama-wearing gimmick, she's actually got some cool stuff in the ring, but I didn't see a lot of it in this match. There wasn't anything that really stood out here. And Toxic Attraction just continue to, they're just flat. They're just not interesting. Like, I get what they were trying to do, even if I don't support necessarily what they were trying to do, but I can't imagine they feel like Toxic Attraction are delivering what they asked them to. So I'm not sure what's taking so long to move on from this act, but they kept the belts here. So anyways, earlier this week, Grayson Waller and Tiffany Stratton, because they sort of formed a bit of a union last week, right? They're out shopping, trying to help Waller get over his loss to Nathan Frazier, a bit of retail therapy, I guess. Basically, they blame Chase University, rip on them for a little bit, and that's the gist of this little segment. And I still think this combination can work. Stratton's really committed to this character. She's making the most out of it. She's kind of impressive, actually, and I like Grayson Waller as well. compared to almost everything else that's on this program. We then get Diamond Mine. They're arguing backstage. The Creeds feel their win is tainted because Strong got involved running by, hitting an elbow last week, I think, when he ran by, right? So the Creeds didn't appreciate his involvement, and they're going to face the Viking Raiders again next week, and they want to do it the right way this time. Roddy basically teases a new member of Diamond. Oh, this is making sense to me now. Oh, no, sorry. There's a separate issue there. But anyways, he teases a new member of Diamond Mine who has an amateur background, and it's
Damon Kemp.
Damon Kemp. So he's on NXT UK and NXT 2.0. What, like a day apart, right? No, 2 days.
2 days.
Tuesday and Thursday. So he flew back over, I guess. Maybe. Julius gets in Roddy's face and says that it should have been a group decision, and they'll talk about it later. So I don't know. Like, I guess Damon Kemp in Diamond Mine makes sense because of his amateur background. But as I said, talking about UK, I haven't been impressed with him. This story is fine, right? At least it's realistic. Like, they have new leadership in Roderick Strong. They don't like new leadership. They want to win cleanly, and Roderick Strong wants to win by any means necessary. So compared to the rest of the nonsense on this show, this storyline doesn't bother me that much between the Creeds and Roddy. It's fine compared to everything else.
Mm-hmm.
So Gacy now has 2 druids with him, or whatever you want to call them, hooded figures. So they head to the ring with him. So he speaks, and he says, Braun must face the next chapter alone. Gacy opened the door of inclusion, and anyone can be part of real change. He talks about 2 men proving their worth and going above and beyond. And the crowd is chanting, shut the hell up. And it doesn't feel like heel heat. It feels like we just don't want you here, right?
Yeah, it doesn't look good.
He says these are the faces of change, and his expansion has begun. He invites Braun to join their movement as well. And he says that hardship awaits those who resist. So I honestly was a bit surprised that it was just an in-ring promo, no reveal of anybody. I guess the idea is we're supposed to build intrigue as to who his 2 recruits are, but I personally don't care. I'm not sure many people do. Felt like this was just kind of filling time. And it was this and the opening recap. So we've already had, however, we're not even an hour in, and there's been a lot of Joe Gacy so far. So not my favorite thing. We then get Saray. She speaks to Andre Chase, but it's in Japanese. We get the subtitles. She wants to make his match with Grayson Waller a mixed tag match. Obviously, Chase doesn't understand, but surprisingly, Bodie Hayward does. And I think basically it was something like, you speak Japanese, and the implication is that Bodie's taking Japanese courses at Chase University, I guess. So that's fine.
Who would be teaching those? Like Ikemen Jiro?
I don't know.
No, not Kushida.
They have a lot of very, very experienced faculty at Chase University, okay? But the problem here is Andre Chase says he's going to go try and get the match made. Why? Suddenly now there's a matchmaker?
I don't know.
People have been making their own matches for months now.
Yeah.
All he has to do is speak it into existence. You don't have to go talk to anybody about it. Just make it.
Exactly.
So clearly he didn't get that memo of just make your own matches and stipulations all the time.
Exactly.
So he's going to talk to somebody, I'd love to know who, about getting this match made. Who's the matchmaker here? Shawn Michaels, I guess, technically, probably. I think he's around there.
Bruce Pritchard.
Anyways, we get this Ivy Nile challenge. It's a recurring thing to get her on the show a lot without having her speak, which is a very good idea because speak not so strong. So she's doing a push-up challenge with some of the recruits for Diamond Mine, I guess it is, because we started with a large number and that number keeps sort of dwindling down as these challenges happen. She tells them if they can't go, then they gotta go, and she does not sound good, but that's all she said here. They then introduce all of the women in the breakout tournament, and they're on stage. They all get sort of a quick introduction, and then we move right into our first breakout match, which is Fallon Henley, taking on the 19-year-old Sloane Jacobs. So she reminds me a bit of Isla Dawn in appearance, like she's pale, seems kind of tall, etc., etc. Anyways, Briggs and Jensen eventually come down mid-match to support Fallon Henley, and it's kind of a fast pace to start, and then they slow down, and Henley's applying some submissions in the middle of the ring. There's a final flurry by Jacobs, ends with a neck breaker, but Henley hits a backbreaker and eventually a Shining Wizard, I guess it was, to win this match in less than 5 minutes. Honestly, in the limited time she got here, I see some potential in Fallon Henley. She looks strong, like physically strong. She looks athletic, and she showed a little bit of charisma. Like, I think she shows more charisma than Briggs and Jensen do, so I actually think I came out of this being like a little bit interested in seeing a bit more of Fallon Henley. So I guess in that sense, the tournament did something for me today. Then we've got Mackenzie. She's backstage talking to Escobar about kidnapping because everybody's kidnapping everybody. So Escobar kidnapped. Do you remember who he kidnapped last week?
The guy.
AJ Galante.
Yes. Okay.
So
I always think it's Galenta.
He is Tony D'Angelo's consigliere. I feel ridiculous even talking about this stuff. But anyways, Escobar kidnapped him last week. Santos says AJ Galante shouldn't have even been at that meeting. I don't know why. And when he sat down, when he sat down at the sit down, he became fair game. He knows he could never survive in Legato's streets. Tony is now going to learn that you can't get in their business and walk away. I really hope that they just speed through this stupid angle. It's really hurting Escobar. Escobar is awesome, and this is dragging him down. Alba Fire is next. Nope, she's not. Because in the parking lot, what's his name? Cruz del Toro? Is that right? So Cruz del Toro goes to start the car, and Tony D'Angelo is standing in front of it. He has one of his, as I call his nephews, but I guess it's technically his goons, is in the back seat, attacks Cruz. They pull him out of the car, keep beating on him, as Tony says his boy did this to him, not Tony.
I saw this. I saw it on Instagram for some reason.
They throw him in the trunk of their car and drive off, and they're going to send a message. Oh boy, that NXT parking lot, eh? You gotta be careful.
Oh, the parking lot strikes again.
So more kidnapping, because we've got AJ Galante kidnapped, Braun Breaker kidnapped, Rick Steiner kidnapped, now Cruz del Toro kidnapped. Like this, find something else to do, man. Honestly, who's writing this? Well, kidnapping, super hot. Kidnapping so hot right now. We gotta ride this out.
Exactly.
We then get Amari Miller. And she got stretchered out at some point and injured. They showed that she's back. I forget what it was.
I don't know.
She's taken on Alba Fire, which is Kaylee Ray. Fire now brings her bat in a sheath on her back, like a sword. Basically, she's got a little case for it. I'm not a fan of her ring gear. It was like black with a bit of like a Scottish, I'm sure, plaid around. Kind of. It almost looks like she's doing the grunge like plaid shirt tied around her waist, but it's actually part of her gear.
That's what I thought it was.
We then get a split screen in the middle of this match as Ivy Nile is now doing a burpee competition as more of the recruits are sort of dropping out because they can't keep up with her. We get a headbutt and, you ready? The firebomb.
Yeah, I saw.
Super creative, guys. Good job. Firebomb and top rope senton by Alba Fire, and she wins. And then, oh my god, it was the most scripted. It's like, who's the commentary guy now?
Vic Joseph, Wade Barrett.
It was like he was waiting Vic Joseph for the moment because he goes, "Fire has ignited her rebirth," and I just like it made me cringe. It was such a scripted WWE nonsense line. So I mean, Amari Miller got more offense than I thought she would, and I mean, what can I really say about a match this short? Right? It was a couple minutes. I guess the goal was to reintroduce Alba Fire with her new name and gimmick, whatever. So maybe successful because yep, she existed. That's for sure. Carmelo Hayes and Trick Williams arrive in the parking lot and get kidnapped. No, just kidding. They actually didn't get kidnapped, but I'm surprised they didn't.
Really? They didn't get like beat up or harassed?
Well, kind of. You could suggest that, yes. They approach the building. Solo Sikoa opens the door and says, "Not today, boys," and closes the door. Great. So Hayes and Williams walk off to find another way in. Like, this is your badass Street Fighter Solo Sikoa. Just closing the door. That's, I don't know, just made me laugh a little bit. Kind of felt out of character. We then have Mackenzie talking to Cora Jade backstage about her main event match against Natalya tonight. She says, of course she's nervous, but Natty is not facing the same girl she met as a little kid, or the one I think she said she DM'd last year, or even the same girl she hit with the cheap shot a couple weeks ago. Tonight she's going to prove to everyone that she can belong against a future Hall of Famer. I just think she sounds pretty rough and uncomfortable still, and for me, she shouldn't be anywhere near a main event, especially in a singles match.
I loved it. You said she's your Shotzi Blackheart.
She is just everything about her, I don't get it. I don't like it. She's not
good at anything.
And obviously, she's super young, so she could turn out to be like the next, I don't know,
not
Io Shirai or Kaylee Ray or something.
Oh, okay.
She could turn out to be, she's 20.
Who's Kaylee
Sorry,
Ray?
Alba Fire.
Oh, she was another one in the UK package.
That's right.
We forgot about. Right.
She was. So she shouldn't be in a main event singles match, but whatever. Solo Sikoa makes his way to the ring to talk. The crowd loves this guy. They're chanting for him. He tells us that he's taken Hayes' time because Hayes was supposed to have this segment, I guess, and it's Sikoa's time now. He says he'll watch the Grimes-Hayes match, and he's got next no matter who it is. Grimes' music hits. He comes out. He said he respects Solo like the crowd does, and he understands that Sikoa wants another chance at the title. But at In Your House, it's Grimes versus Melo one-on-one. But have no fear. Once he defeats Carmelo Hayes, Solo Sikoa has his word that if Solo wants a shot at the title, then he'll be the next one. Melo and Trick Williams attack Grimes as Solo Sikoa is walking up the ramp, sort of oblivious to what's happening behind him. He finally does notice what's going on behind him, comes back to take out Trick Williams. He's about to, I forget what he was going to do. He took out Hayes and was, I think, going up for the splash maybe. Anyways, Hayes ends up escaping and retreats. So Sikoa picks up the title, kind of looks at it, right, and then hands it to Grimes to end the segment.
He picked it up, so he's not winning.
I actually had no problem with this segment. Again, it's a really simple story, right? They all want the title. They all think they deserve it. And again, in a show that's got such nonsense going on, I wish they had more things that were straightforward like this. So I had no issue with this. Sikoa's solid on the mic, solid in the ring. The other two guys are awesome. So this is probably my favorite storyline on this show, I would say. So now we're back to more Legado. God. They head to their vehicle and they notice that Cruz is missing. So Escobar calls D'Angelo, has him on his phone, obviously. They're buddies, I guess. D'Angelo starts out playing dumb, right? And reminds Escobar that Galante is missing too. Everybody's kidnapped somebody. We all have hostages at this point, apparently. They end up agreeing to a match for next week, and Tony yells some threats before Escobar simply goes, "Hey, D'Angelo, F you," but he didn't say that, but they blurred it out, right? And then he hangs up. And then
protect the children.
Tony D'Angelo flips a table in an angry rage.
Oh, not the table.
Way too much of this story on this show is my only comment on that. Fraser, that is, what's his first name? Nathan Fraser. He talks to Mackenzie about winning his debut, and he says tonight he's cheering for Chase U because they're his boys. Zion Quinn shows up for some reason and offers him advice, including he should run it straight. But Fraser doesn't know what that means, and Wes Lee shows up and says, see, that nobody knows what that means. Because I think he said it to Wes Lee last week or the week before, and Lee was like, what does run it straight mean? So now we have another person that doesn't understand, and Lee shows up to comment on that. And it looks like Lee and Quinn will have a match, which means that Lee will get another quick loss on his record, I would assume.
Because what else is he there for?
We then get the mixed tag match, which is Waller and Stratton taking on Saray and Andre Chase. So this was kind of funny, actually. Saray, as they're coming through, right, leads Chase and Bodhi through the transformation smoke thing that she goes through. So Bodhi ends up coming out the other side in a crop top and a wig. So I guess he's basically like a cheerleader here or a schoolgirl. And Andre Chase's sweater is now a different color. I think it went from red to blue, but don't quote me on that. So the men start out as Chase gets an advantage. Waller quickly tags out. Saray's in control on the mat, and she basically, I think she was spanking Tiffany Stratton at one point repeatedly here. We get an assisted moonsault by Stratton to Andre Chase. Saray hot tag leads to drop kicks, but Waller saves Stratton from that one where she's sitting against the ropes, the Saray signature drop kick. But Waller ends up taking it instead. So again, the ref's not really enforcing the rules here. As long as it's the woman beating up the man, it's totally fine, right? The ref doesn't seem to care. We get the twisting Vader bomb by Stratton, but Bodhi breaks up the count with an air horn blast that distracts the ref from making the count. Yep. But this time it's distracting the ref, not the competitors. Stratton hits a slingshot crossbody to Hayward on the floor. But when she gets back in the ring, of course, she gets rolled up by Saray. So we get our distraction roll-up because that's what we have to have on this show. Kidnappings and distraction roll-ups by the dozen. Actually, it was a decent match for NXT 2.0, but the distraction roll-up is just, like, it's been played to death at this point. Ivy Nile and the Recruits now are doing walking lunges with Bulgarian bags.
Why is this a running thing?
I think they just want her on the show, and they can't have her talk, so this is what you get. So more trainees are dropping out because this is too hard. They just can't keep up with her. So we get then Mackenzie is now with Robert Stone. Sorry, Mr. Stone. How dare I? And Von Wagner, your boy.
Everyone's boy.
It's your boy, Von Wagner.
It's his world, too.
Mr. Stone says their actions against Jiro and Jensen, because I think they attacked them, right? I don't everything
Jiro
Wagner does is just like, I barely remember it. It's so uninspiring and it's just not memorable. Anyways, it's an example of what happens when you step to Von Wagner. Jiro runs in angry and starts attacking, and security rush in and try and separate them. Cool. Ariana Grace is backstage. I think that's what's his name? Santino's daughter. I'm pretty sure.
Which one?
Ariana Grace.
I'm pretty sure, yes.
So she's backstage prepping for her match with Nikita Lyons, which is next, as if it's not next, because next it's backstage. Toxic Attraction walk up and try to sound like they're a little bit supportive and checking in on Indy Hartwell and her breakup. And Indy says she feels like it's been crazy. She feels like she's lost control. And then Mandy just starts laughing at her and is more like, no, I can't understand how you feel because no one's ever broken up with me, is basically Mandy's thing, doing the mean girl stuff they always do.
She's hot.
They laugh some more, and Indy ends up walking off. We then get Nikita Lyons taking on Ariana Grace. Grace denies the handshake, lands a strike instead. Lyons tries to break the armbar with, you know, the scene where someone has an armbar and you try and pick them up and powerbomb them, like the
yeah.
So she tries that, but gets Grace off the mat like maybe 4 inches and then puts her back down.
That sounds like on the 2K animation. Like there's, I think it was in actually 2K14 when I was playing the streak thing. Like, you get like, because it's the streak mode, so they up like the difficulty, and sometimes Taker will randomly put you in the Hell's Gate if you go for a ground move.
Right.
And like one of the reversals is either like he just releases it when you get out, like remember the breaking point.
Yes.
Mini game.
Yep.
Or like you lift them up like really low and drop them.
That's what this was.
Yeah.
So maybe it was on purpose. In the moment I didn't think it was, so I don't know. Grace then starts working on Lyons' arm. Lyons takes over, wins with her split leg drop. Her splits leg drop in 3 minutes. So I don't know, like, what can I say, right? I can't evaluate new talent in like a 3-minute match. So it looks like they're trying to put Grace over as like sort of some amateur kind of background, and she knows submissions and stuff like that. So that's fine. We'll see where it goes. Back to Ivy Nile again. Now it's battle ropes and pull-ups with a heavy chain around your neck. I think there's only 1 or 2 recruits left at this point. Anyways, she outlasts all of them. They can't keep up. She says one line, I don't remember what it was, but she sounds super wooden still. Like, really, she and Von Wagner should just have a conversation on the show, just for my amusement. Cora Jade has a journal. Did you know that? Did you know she's always loved wrestling?
She really loves and respects Natalya.
Right. We get a recap of that whole deal. Then we get the Viking Raiders. They say they respect the Creeds for not wanting to accept the tainted victory from last week, I guess it was. They point out, and you said that it was accurate, right, that they've never lost in NXT before. And next week, when the bell rings, respect and honor will be put to the side. In 1 week's time, the raid is coming, and Ragnarok awaits.
I love that movie.
Right. Solid promo, I don't know, in Viking Raiders style. It's fine. I'm looking forward to the rematch, actually, because the first match was quite good. Main event time, which you watched with me. Cora Jade taking on Natalya. We get holds and counters and a slightly botched flip by Jade early on. Remember, first of all, her kip up looked like she barely got it. Then she had one hand on the rope and she was trying to
do like the flip out of the arm wringer, and then she just did not
couldn't
get
land
that.
It. Yeah. Step up head scissors by Jade, and she tries for a sharpshooter, but Natalya escapes to the floor. Surfboard by Natalya, but Jade escapes and hits a weak basement dropkick. Remember, you saw that. You're like, that did. And that's what I mean. Nothing looks like it hurt. Because she had her like legs bent and it just barely any impact. Anyways,
and it's right on like the chest,
right, which yes, there's a lot of protection there for Natty. Jade slaps Natty and hits more arm drags, which it seems like Jade's signature move, because it's like one of the first things you learn, right, is arm drags and hip tosses and stuff. So she does a whole bunch of them. High knee and a tornado DDT by Jade. I actually, to be fair, thought that combination looked pretty good. The high knee tornado DDT looked solid. Jade I'm picturing it in my mind. Here's my note. Jade takes a back bump off the top rope all by herself for some reason, ?
Right, she tried to do like the rollover like Darby Allin, but she just ended up looking like she missed a swanton, like
with nobody
like
there.
Jeff Hardy.
Yeah,
exactly.
It looked like she was supposed to, I think, jump off and like do a graceful somersault and then get up, and she just didn't.
She still got up, but she took a bump.
Right. Attempted figure 4 on the post, but Jade fights out of it. We get a springboard double stomp by Jade for 2. An awkward-looking sliced bread by Jade. This is where I'm like, she honestly really struggles to do things cleanly. It's almost like she's trying to do too much too soon in her career, and all of it looks a little bit like to be kind, unorthodox, I guess is the nicest way to say it. Jade gets caught coming off the ropes. Natty applies a sharpshooter. Jade passes out, even though, as you pointed out, Natty looks like she's releasing the hold, right? You're like, she's letting go when she passes out.
Yeah, it was like, I was... she was talking, and I was like, oh, they're gonna do the Stone Cold thing or something, and then like they kind of did that.
They did, minus the cool facial of the Crimson Mask, right?
Minus Austin being a good wrestler.
Minus really good wrestling being involved.
Minus good wrestling and a good match.
Other than that, exactly the same.
Yeah.
Natty, and we were also joking about, they're like, see, AEW, you're not the only ones that can do callbacks to Bret Hart matches.
Exactly.
So Natty wins after 14 minutes. Handshake and a hug afterwards. So is this Natalya doing her, like, she has changed heel to babyface more times than maybe anyone other than like Kane and Big Show. So I feel like
Kane, I don't know. That's not a bad
is
one.
this happening again? Like, I don't know. Anyways, fine, I guess.
Because she didn't tap her, like, she didn't tap out.
Respect. She respects her now.
Right.
This was fine, I guess. I still find Jade rough around the edges and pretty limited in the ring. Like, they're pushing her faster than she's ready, I think, in my opinion. It was better than the other tournament matches, but because it got more time, but that is really not saying anything because the other ones were like 3 and 4 minutes, right? So I was a little bit surprised by the outcome. I thought they were going to go with, because this breakout tournament, right? How is Natalya in a breakout thing, or was this part of the tournament?
No,
oh, it wasn't. Okay, good. It better not be, because it wouldn't make sense. Anyways, this show overall, the tournament was the most of it, right? It's going pretty much how you would expect. Unspectacular, really short matches with nothing really of note happening. The main event was longer, but pretty much not much more interesting. It felt to me like you were watching a trainer and a trainee wrestling an extended match, but it's on TV, right?
It's not good.
I feel like this is something where it's like arm drag, now do this, now do that, but it's on TV. None of the matches this week are worth seeking out to watch. Neither were any of the segments, especially the ongoing D'Angelo and Escobar stuff is just far too much. An okay show at best. I gave it a C- this week. So that is it for me.
Right.
I said you could talk about, what did you rewatch? You did, for any other wrestling business, you rewatched
an Angelico entrance compilation.
No, you watched the NXT
I did
match.
That too.
Well, yeah, but
because I read a news thing about Jack Evans,
right?
So I was like, oh, Angelico. And then also.
But you watched an NXT match.
Yeah, I watched. Because I was looking at on demand. They didn't have a lot of takeovers, so I was like, I'll watch something from NXT, and then so I decided to watch the Takeover in Your House main event from last year, which was that 5-way. It was still really good, particularly when Karrion Kross is not present in the ring.
Yes.
I really like the part towards the end where like they do like these like this sequence of double team moves, which were really cool, like just like fast, like I don't know, it was really good. It was still as good as I remember. I really liked that match.
I remember it being
awesome.
one of our favorite Cross matches, and he gets thrown through the door and is out of it for like
a
good chunk of it.
It was still awesome. I really liked it.
The one sequence, because I saw a bit of it with you, when he took out everybody on ringside, he actually looked pretty good.
That was cool, yeah, because he killed Gargano on the apron.
Did, and then he just sort of shoved them all over the barricade.
Yeah, some of the sequences when it was just the other four was like, it was awesome. I think it was cool. I think the finish was pretty good too. Like I remember like that was alright. I mean, Cross won, which sucked, but they did it well. But yeah, I generally liked that. It was still really good.
It was.
I don't know
why
I wanted to watch that, but I did.
Because we want to harken back to a time when NXT was fun. Right? And
that
just
was
enjoyable.
Fun. Good fun.
I didn't ask you ahead of time. Do you have Figuring It Out this week?
They have given me nothing.
There is no Figuring It Out this week. So that's going to bring us to the end of episode 95. And look at that. We're under 2 hours again, unless this outro takes 6 minutes. So thank you for joining us for episode 95. We'll be back next Saturday for sure. I don't think there's anything special in between, right? There's no pay-per-views or anything this week? That'd be tonight or tomorrow.
Nope.
Can't think of anything.
No, there isn't. No.
So yeah, we'll be back next Saturday. We hope you come back and join us again. If you'd like to contact us, please do fnswrestling@gmail.com or on Instagram, FNS_wrestling_podcast. Or if you're one of the few listening on YouTube, just throw a comment there. I promise you will get a reply from us. Again, asking for what would you like to see, anything different on episode 100.
Yeah, I want to do something, but I have no idea.
We'll have to think about it. So any ideas are welcome. Love to hear from you.
For sure.
Thanks for joining. Anytime you take out of your day to listen to us talk about wrestling, we really do appreciate it. We look forward to seeing you back here next Saturday for episode 96. And until then, take care.